Atlanta, Ajax, and Inter Milan. At your phone, no, Yabaka was some at the everyday UEFA Champions League phase matches and also no air so a year and the Ochina Ghana Football Association president. Yeraketo Kreku, in fact, on the air feeding the nano and pay. I'm not confirming, say, 18 clubs are more boy in league, you know. In fact, 1 million Ghana cedis are. I said the back clubs in the ball league, no, Bianca Canada. Yakoba, Yababe, Sika Kwedi clubs, he way. The Ebeboa, ama ye league, you know, and so etimi ejina, you know, Nina Yakoba, na etimi abedi sound community na awo ayeshono. So this time anymore in Shawanzo 4.5 midweek edition of Nhyira Data Passports is airborne. Nemum, I just say, Gabi Swam Gabi the foreigner. At you for a day, echo Amanina for a day, Amanin Comono, I shall say a day, among young Comra.
Amuzu Gali.
Yaro ho kra ne say Rich the year can in nyina still na wo hwe wani mu a eyes are being po and the man
it's not even likely say we are next year you bet you have Champions League
the mu must not see your league mu there
14 30 the Champions League
and Africa see there munni Europa na ga so ye fair chase na last season now did say man ya dey o league nim kwa nka be fair chire na modiaba because this season and the Tottenham game not because they did well last season in the league but because almost the Europa League route you know and that is the story of Manchester United but Bayern the day 2025-2026 Champions League you know and started proper and I'm using the word proper because you had kind of prelims be brave around it but after you started group stage games you know and you may Enti ene Ochina Wednesday Thursday so you have games enti mesewa ya no ma hye so you go for board they are not used to Thursday Champions League games but this season the Thursday there are games in the Champions League enti Ocean so sana ebetimi aboa papa ye now Rich mesewa mo have touch na me why Champions League you know there are a lot of glorious clubs or Magic Champions League ni me some of those MC I don't hear me touching them for me. I'm touching them back. Rich. Na ubusa amuzupi question of the day. Say this season why and a Belgian Champions League. I think say already. I don't know what is happening. Mbayo.
Esa mo na your time ne ko. Enya preview no tentem na fi. Emre fi me di efie nkomo no. Asemo. Manchester United.
Ofi kwara enso.
I never copy your him and I say who do you miss when the Champions League anthem is played? I say me is Cristiano Ronaldo, the real goods.
But no gremo. Maybe a tremor.
Oh.
I think I feel okay. Rich. O question now ubusa you know. Amuzupi question of the day you know is to find out why and what's our question mark with him. You look at the winners from 1956. Real Madrid started jail 5 times. Benfica came in AC Milan. Yanina Musa. The last winners were Paris Saint-Germain. Now the question you say and they say by the time you be here in 2026 in why and the Champions League, you know. Now Rich, at least there's a guide by Opta Supercomputer as to why and a Champions League now you're starting and then you know or your favorite so be winning And this is your top 10. Liverpool, Arsenal, Paris Saint-Germain, Barcelona, Manchester City, Chelsea Football Club, Real Madrid, Bayern, Newcastle, Inter. Enti uyo a say you go for rich. Omo pe betting early. No they are cut to the Champions League, you know. And obetimi a bet be 3 class. Edi onu say baako beje. Now according to Opta Supercomputer, so we are go for ni be rich. Your first 3 must be Liverpool, Arsenal, and I said Paris Saint-Germain. If you want to extend it, you can add Barcelona, Man City, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Bayern, Newcastle, Inter as a top 10. Or more statistically, or make me to the quarterfinal, semis, final, not eventual winners, or more etimi aji. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. I am a preview, and we will do it very, very quickly. And yet, Kasatin team, yeah. Arsenal are called the cathedral of Spanish football. But Rich, good for Arsenal. They have a lot of knowledge of Spanish football within Omutim, led by Mikel Arteta himself. Mikel Arteta is Spanish, Rich. And in the history of Spanish football, he is well aware of San Meme. Say a Honda football starting here with Spain. On him the culture, on him the kind of atmosphere we create, and on him the way our backs for no, or madie. In the back city, Rich, or play me say Zubimendi, or play me say Mikel Moreno, any even the Captain Martin Odegaard, or member in the back community, for Real Sociedad. Then outside Omono, Rich, Nancy no go to mascara by, or go to only Spain. I no swako back swako any other. There is a lot of knowledge in the Arsenal team when it comes to playing in the Champions League for Omo Eddie Echo. The moment Arsenal step foot here, there is a son meme, very, very nice. Rich, they will have a lot of information and a lot of familiar people are on how this venue can turn up to them. Look, Michelle Bebao this weekend. Rich, Bebao without Nico. In fact, omunesi omodeka. And she da nyu husa. Timini ni balance. Berengue na obo baby I was Nico Bono. Onye as effective as Nico William. And Rich, Nico influence will be bad as so. They try to play everything through him. And the moment I come on, yeah, they did no. Who be to opponent so this all ko bomb. Na omun Nico Woma. Rich, they don't really inspire that way, no. And the mommy Judy said Arsenal will get something out of this game. Arsenal have a very good team. Almost 30 years, they have the depth. They have the knowledge of Bebia Omokono. And even without player Mr. Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, we are very, very integral in Arsenal team. No, may I sure say Arsenal will do it over team. My friend Alep Kobe, but Arsenal anya dear courage. Na enya omo 1 pointer omo edibefu waba, but Bibiako ya, I'm expecting Arsenal to beat Steven Fred Bebao at the Cathedral of Spanish football. PSV match now money. St. Gallas Airborne. Rich, I've watched PSV last season. Though they've lost some few players, Pachao, Mo, Luke De Jong, I know you're my captain, they've lost him. But Rich, at home against Champions League debutants from Belgium, I think PSV will be favorites. Omi a favorite say Ombetimi as a St. Gallen for Noti. That is how my prediction will go. Now, at North London, Spurs above Villarreal. Rich, Nafifi was talking about Thomas Partey coming back to North London. Uye de Omewuruno. Uye de Omewuruno. And you know how we run the Besiako. Because Partey needs to say, UK, you're there.
Sure.
Because of the trial now, original. It's uchu time on the Huno. But Rich, it is not a game I am expecting Marcelino to start party. Because already this weekend, game of Muboye in the Spanish La Liga, our two combinations, our Danny Perazzo and Thomas Partey, and our Pepe, and our Kamasana, and the started two. The following season match no started two because obviously keeping squad not fresh for every game. But Rich, Senka, what should Villarreal team in this one? Who probably one knowledge of English footballer? Obet market just say, look, my boss, meaning how they behave. Then you should throw a bunch of Thomas Partey. So make sure combination whether you play Pepe with Partey. Now, Omatimi, I had one ever 50 and then you now. But the good thing is, squad now, friend, there is Thomas Partey here in the squad for Team Friend and Villarreal. So, Thomas Frankie, the young will see Rich in the 4-3-3. No, the only question mark was our lineup with him. Either Obebo Paulina and also Obebo Rodrigo Bentake. And was our area. Omo Makanya, we are expecting them to play a front three of Xavi Simons, Mohamed Kudus, and Richarlison. Kudus is back in the Champions League. And you have an opportunity to watch him. Then a back four of Spence and saying, Onya call up into the English national team. Abente Fede Poro and Kuti and Van de Veer, which was solid squad for them. Where they not make no. Kamasana and Pepe Gueye, and Fifi. The backup to these players, Thomas Partey and Danny Perazzo. Didn't you mean sure about Danny Perazzo and the pace of the English game? Perazzo is slow, kakra, and Omobo closing now. But who are for this space? Our boy, also there. He is one of the best midfielders. Ubenya, Euro Pepe, our form, and Abentia, Yefano Morero, our form. Then Matatazi and Ayozi Perez, LED the lines for them rich. Maybe a Tottenham was paying.
Pepe's whole idea of
yes, any other. Look, me prediction or game we want to say. Even though Thomas Frank Bayern or Yadi, but Rich, I don't trust Tottenham in Europe. I don't. And Villarreal for coach is a very experienced coach. And see, why don't we go over 1.5 in this game and stay away from we being too enthusiastic? Tottenham able to fear their own best. The Spanish team can be very stubborn. And they've started well just this weekend and Uncle Yamo. But in the Spanish La Liga, they are playing very well. And see, an over 1.5 game in Tottenham against Villarreal. Benfica Besha Quara for no. On Besha Karabak for no. Unu says to see a Nhyira studio no. Omo bo the UEFA Youth League no. Benfica show me 6. Omo show me 6-0. Miwe omo mpoyo. Omo say 6. Let's go be about any Arsenal any 1-1. And granted, the answer that Nhyira studio no. So that is my prediction. I think that Benfica will win. Juventus against Dortmund. Rich. BBO. And you're straightforward in my Juventus. How? And you're straightforward.
What you Dortmund for Nidi?
Rich. And you're last 2 seasons they played in the finals of the Champions League. Mm-hmm. Last season, they played very well in the Champions League. Juventus has not been consistent in the Champions League. Suddenly, Rich, Champions League stage, you know. How consistent are we anyway? Experience are we gathered every season, you know. And very important. Say, Juventus, Dortmund, that is a classic game in the Champions League. But in Rich, in terms of two teams, the way experience for Europe in the Champions League is Dortmund. Just see them in that kind of light. Turin for they said this is going to be their first 11. Kelly, Brahima, Gatti with Kalulu and Cambiaso as wing backs. Turam and Lukateri Fifi. Then they are playing Yildiz as number 10 behind Davis and Openda. That is how they are going to play. This is Dortmund. Bayern, Karim Adeyemi behind the striker Sergio Gorassi. Rich the Fifi Felix Meta. Any Bellingham, near Bellingham. And so Ebabo with Kuto. Any Stevenson at wing backs. Then almost back three of Anton Basibani, any Rising with Kobo and Apom. Rich, this lineup is any lineup. I'll bet my father for their grow. And two teams now are going to play in a 3-back position. Rich, again, I will not race Juventus Bessebia because of the experience of this Dortmund team.
You will go goals.
I will go for goals, yes. At least, say Juventus here, I'm only Inter 4-3.
Yeah.
Obianim say in the Bundesliga, Dortmund a team a pay goals to say especially being led by Sedu Gorasinti. Say if two teams have actual potential, say on the 9th in a very, very good game, they can all go and score goals there. Rich, why not go for goals? Juventus team, they are not too consistent, mame. And this Dortmund team can pull a surprise or Italy or the mame. Obia expects Real Madrid the best. Sign of no expectation in it here. But Rich, make us a way for people to be a little bit cautious. Maybe I don't want to say that Olympic Marseille team. A team I work Condobia. Rich. A team I work Mason Greenwood. A team I work some players beyond we are very, very experienced. Obama young may almost striker. And see, say, who said that name more? Probably you underrate Omo, any Oma who are there Omo. Xabi Alonso say, we're excited on Baba Champions League, you know. Because this is Real Madrid and their DNA always go to the Champions League. Team news say free Real Madrid however and they say Rich almost say then you were trying to best start it. It is Trent and a ball right back, you know. Gabi. Then Xabi Alonso say between Vinicius and Rodrigo, Bakupe and a ball left hand side. And of course, Sadia, we know say Vinicius and a ball. Then the good news and they say Jude Bellingham back, but we are not expecting say or best start a game in Rich. These are the two lineups. Courtois, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Adam Militao, Eddie Dinhausen, and Alvaro Carreras. Then Uber 51, Chiomani, Vervardi, Adam Goulet, Mastantuano on the right, Jude Bellingham, and Vinicius on the left. Then Abranti Efeni, Kylian Mbappe, a centrally, Senna Americano, Andre Gomez, Kondobia, Pavard, any Abranti Efeni, Mason Greenwood, any Aubameyang, and Timothy Weah. Omo nyina e team a your friend Marseille team. And I'm expecting goals to also flow. Our the Santiago Bernabeu. For those who believe so, they are goals in ba. Real Madrid will outscore team your friend Marseille. That is for Omo edgy side needed. But for me, I will not risk side any giddy because Makase, even though Real Madrid have a perfect record, but Rich, they've never been convincing. And so far, they are winning the games all right. They are grinding the results, but they've not played the Real Madrid level games, you know. And games we say as a test, especially with Gizabia or BNM say, so man opportunity say with team, you know, Unyan gets into your groove, or a very, very frustrating football and the Santiago Bernabeu. So yes, Real Madrid are expected to win against Olympic Marseille, but Rich, we must watch out for some very, very key players. Bia Omo and line up with him. Rich, here we will end with some calls. The code no comes with the Champions League game, the UEFA League, Youth League, you know, games be eka home. Then I think say Asia for so Champions League and then Ali, I was Saudi Arabia. I will game be against a team from Qatar. I will fear we expecting them to also win them some 1 or 2 touches. Be very, very interesting. And then Oko South Africa or Mobile League, or Durban, Kaiser Chiefs, and other competitions are also 3 bet to a coast. First one a BW 119 F9 514, and a second one a BW 119 FF 1A0.
Na was what say.
Oh, na me gusu shai. Kakra.
Yeah.
We can't complain.
Mbese who say kakra dey ulti me penny warning. But we permit me and let me warn you.
Just say. Adieu.
Permit me na me warn you.
Some men catch Champions League was.
So unka be. E 2 warnings am dey mouth. Last year na me no nyina esu. Senka will be to me where her crowds who could champions in common my own DB. Now team mobi ala nkwa de nim komo no. Enye nyame na ye adom. We so nyame ye adom ye boy your homode. And so what shall notice here what my tactical word is here. I see the UEFA Champions League is back. And it is back with the big boys. Oma representing stadiums like Kesia or Champions League. Fushima, you can see the Stamford Bridge. The reason is the Old Trafford. Neither is there any sign of Manchester United.
We see new stadium nache.
I don't know. My time and catch money. See, don't worry about that. Alright, and one ajo. You see me video we do Mr. Because of court is saying, men trying you video no fear. Yes, actually, when you caught us.
Mami Chabi,
because
change.
That video, my money permission to come video crash. It would be video now. Court is saying, which means you grow.
And then, that video, no. Oh, Richard TV. Man, oh.
Oh, Facebook.
And then, more video than more Richard TV. But you need life. Mama, Kuala Mudinetino.
It can be there, the one I count is why you were Israel for that may see what French server because would you me see what means come every see come do French here. Thank my jeans and was there. How much show me video mama permission. Come on, what is say?
I see.
Wait, there's a video there.
But
move on, baby. Why?
At the end, Chabby change.
I know probably drew ya moves as a bomb swabbing. Or so crew. Rich. The Champions League, I think I've always said that. There a money a fena a dewo is the stories that it comes with. And there's small rivalries. The last time he saw I brought a year draw no, say, do you think that UEFA has achieved their aim of changing the format of the Champions League now?
Yeah.
And I think that unanimously,
sure.
Say, now there are bigger games. In Kayababe started Champions League. There was no way we probably would have seen Chelsea Bayern in the first game. There was no way you are going to see Paris Saint-Germain Barcelona in the group stage. And a lot of these matches, even Arsenal, no Bilbao crowd, which is not too much of a big heavyweight clash, you know. But the storylines and directly are interesting. So what I'll do today is that I will walk you through the storylines. Then I'll tactically analyze the game for you. Here we are. Ni mama bonus. Mama coach abe kofi fikesi mama kodi na bibia aye kama. The game starts with the Arsenal game. Rich, what are the storylines here? Unim say Athletic Bilbao the Basque region of Spain. Na uko Basque sonuma. Enye Bilbao nko. There is a Real Sociedad there. The last time I came to tell you that English Premier League for a documentary of the Basque managers or English Premier League. At the time they counted 6. They counted Julien Lopetegui at the time. They counted Andoni Areola at the time. They counted Mikel Arteta at the time. They counted Unai Emery at the time. And I think a couple more that has escaped me. So there were a number of Basque managers, free Basque who are now some of the top managers.
Anti Edia Tumini and Anope Yatana Sincro Farman so Yadi update in the bench with the Anoso Bedjani and Afe and Yamana Timia Kama Hediama went to Shawud also UEFA Champions League match day 1 and a Chessa Yagusano pay and Uncomopi. Oh, I would have said a big game Chelsea game into as usual and 70 Bastian Afe Yatimi Abu Bedman Gumkama Nano Sweatimi Abu and she said I would do in our swintin not just to me I come at the end of swintin not just Yetimi Aquarium. Young fast and for many make an no pay no when we deny a church in a power with them some no one said to me a cabacато say what pomidin I idea we hear your pa and channel pay maybe sa pomity saying Elcobasa senior man queer no pommy and stand away drama so and I couldn't can limited edupa and on a come on huncho capsule and you buy a meme do a boy be for urinary tract infections and no and a chest a babuana infections out on now at me to say them I bema tajon son tentem would do so with you or bema where do a huncho capsule ɛno na mɛkamfo ɛde ma afei wadwo nso awie waprom ceasefire ɛdoɔ bi anka dɛm bɛhu sɛ na nneɛma dwepedwepe ɛno ayɛ kamea sɛ wɔbɛma ho aka ɛdoɔ bɛboa no yɛ huntu capsule ɛno akyi ɔmo de Mr. Kio nso aba ɛno yɛ bɛrima do bɛrima bi ɛne wo mpa so agodie aba fam no nya ndopa bi a aboa ma kyɛ sɛ nneɛma nyinaa ɛyɛ kama de ma wanhyehyɛ awodoɔ nyinaa so nti woyɛ bɛrima na wotiemi na wopɛ do bɛboa sexual weakness ɛbɛtu aseɛ premature ejaculation ɛbɛtu aseɛ ana afei slow erection ɛtu aseɛ de ma na afei ɛno nso no atumi aboa ama libido ɛno nso atumi akɔ so ɛdo ɛbɛboa no ɛno ayɛ Mr. Kio Kulun Ghana Limited ana ɛde adupa ɛde aba ɛno ɛkyɛ ɔmo de araba bazenta bɛte so aba ɛno ɛyɛ mɛdo aboa baabi a menstrual pains menstrual disorders yɛbɛtu ne nyinaa aseɛ de ama baabi a ɛdu bu so me na kyɛ sɛ wobu nsa na akɔyɛ biribi bi a wɔ hɔ a ɛno ɛyɛ do ɛbɛboa yie paa ɛno akyi ma menkamfo na menka kyerɛ sɛ infertility ɛbɛtu aseɛ ɛde ama no afei so ɛno ɛbɛboa ama blood circulation no ɛtumi akɔ yie paa de ama woyɛ ɔbaa na wone wo rɛsia no afei so atenka wonya bi ɛdo ɛbɛboa no ɛyɛ araba bazenta bɛtɛyɛ Kulun Ghana Limited na ɛde adupa ɛde aba nti kɔfomase ɛne track shop bia na kɔgye wo deɛ nɔmɛs a wobɛtumi ne ɔmato ka sɛ ɛyɛ 0244275429 na wanya Kulun Ghana Limited adupa na no nso atumi aboa yie paa ɛno akyi ma menkamfo na menka kyerɛ sɛ aduane a ɛyɛ kama ne deɛ ɛyɛ Isman Kitchen hɔ ana ɛbɛnya aduane papa no nso adi Isman Kitchen ɛso menka kyerɛ sɛ every Thursday ɛno yɛ banku ne tilapia ɛnti wonya Thursday biara banku ane tilapia na ni dia etimi awie pɛ na ade ba ko yɛ sɛ wotɔ banku with tilapia bi a yɛbɛsa to another banku with tilapia na fe so enjoyment no etimi akoye ade ama sada to so every Wednesday a kyɛ sɛ na yɛ Wednesday say no wokɔ ɛyɛ pizza Wednesday wotɔ pizza yɛsa to another pizza enta no pɛ kɔ Isman Kitchen ɛno ayɛ Kumasia Baba Yara Sports and Pato main gate ade sɛ traffic light no asɔre me ɛpɛ na wobɛnya Isman Kitchen na fe so di pɛtɛ na wo mo so atimi aboma aduane no aniama koye adiama every Monday ɛno ayɛ catfish point and kill no ɛno wokyira na yɛyɛ ho adwuma ɛdema na yama side dish free ɛde akam ada sɛ no bɛyɛ fried yam anasɛ bɛyɛ jollof rice anasɛ bia banku anasɛ bia bɛma fried rice ɛde aka ho na afei so amɛ ni gye na timi ayɛ kama yie pa ɛno yɛ Isman Kitchen ana kyɛ sɛ bɛka mfo adiama kodidi pɛtɛ ebia woyɛ outdoor in event bi birthday bi apunto bi conference bi ana yɛ opo bi ɔbɛyɛ aduane na wetimi de asɛvo ahɔ dia ɛno yɛ Isman Kitchen ana kyɛ sɛ sɛ ɔkɔ Isman Kitchen restaurant deɛ numbers a wobɛtumi nso afrɛ m ɛwɔ so ɛyɛ 0265707070 anaasɛ 0248865046 na afei nso anɔpɛ ɔmo nso atumi agye so yie paa maka kyerɛ sɛ drinks ɛyɛ kama no ɛyɛ piva beverages ɔmo ana ɔmo akɔ akɔfa de aba ɔmo de piva ɛyɛ orange flavour ɛde aba ɔmo de tangerine ɔmo wɔ grapes ɛwɔ no ɔmo wɔ cocktail ɛnso ɔmo wɔ piva cola ɛnso ɔwɔ nti woyɛ event na wobɛhia soft drinks ɛnom ɛna ɛbɛyɛ kama ɛde ɔmo ana anɔpɛfoɔ ani ɛto ɔmo ɔmo aka kyerɛ na akɔgye deɛ wobɛtumi ɛnso afrɛ m na wanya dodoɔ ɛto atɔn ɛno yɛ 0550032231 na piva beverages ɔmo ɛnso ama ɔmo drinks no bi na wodwuma bi a wopɛ sɛ wodi no watumi de akɔ akɔdi na ayɛ kama ɛde ama wɔnhyehyɛ awodoɔ nyinaa so na ɛno ana mɛkamfo no maka kyerɛ sɛ wonim sɛ rapaholic ɛyɛ concert no ɛba so rapaholic concert no ɛba so dendendendenden and the big question ɛsɛ ɔsɛ krom sɛ na ɛkɔ bɛyɛ kama nso ɛde ama adeɛ asisia no ɛdeɛ sɛ woyusu momo nso ɛde di dwuma no anakyɛ sɛ ayɛ kama de ama wɔnhyehyɛ awodoɔ nyinaa so ɛnti wodeɛ momo no fa di dwuma momo no fa di dwuma ma nneɛma nso no ɛnkɔyɛ kama ɛmfa ma ɛno ansɛ rapaholic no ana ɛsɛ wo nso enjoy MTN Ghana ɛsɛ ɛnɛ wodeɛ wonya download ɛyɛ wo momo app na afei wɔrefɛ ɛde ama obi na wo download wo momo app na afei wo nso wotwa refɛ ɛde ma nipa num krampa adeɛ sɛ ne yɛbɛma ɛyɛ regular ticket no ɛno sɛ no wobɛnya mmienum na afei so no woyɛ ɛyɛ refɛ nipa 20 a ɛno sɛ no ɛyɛ VIP ana kyerɛ sɛ ticket no mmienu ana yɛde ma straight up na afei so rapaholic no on the 27th of September you know ɛde gye no nso atuma yɛ kama nti mayi wo mfiri mu ɛnom ɛyɛ rapaholic a ɛtɔ dwa dendenden na MTN Ghana ɛso wode download wo momo app na afei so refɛ nipa ɛyɛ numpɛ anaasɛ refɛ nipa ɛyɛ 20 na afei so wo nso nya ɛyɛ ticket na wo nso nneɛma nkɔyɛ kama ɛmfa ma wɔnhyehyɛ awodoɔ nyinaa so na flora tissue ne deɛ ɛyɛ kama paa ɛnom and you use so and so ewa bontin so answer sisia no nam weather into no code ni ade ade na nya de se eba be kone enti uhia tissue atase bebo ama ene na niama etima ye kama ede ma sisia ne disposable handkerchiefs na no obi ayi so na flora de na mekanfo ede ma flora disposable handkerchiefs no nya bi now you so super absorbent mpacho you so njapatics bia we kire na ema clean experience ya kama eno na offices awodo ni nyina obi ayi so perfect fit for your bag and afe wo pocket inti mekanfo ediama ankrankra bia afe o me de floor kiss tissue ediaba eno about 10 you so o me de wipe na face o me de cleaning mo fa no ento your about 10 na utemi na wo ma wonsa enso atimi account there aside that no me de floor tiro ediaba edamo to a fragrance fair pure white na unim say na clean experience enso ya kama no na mekanfo de ama efie bia mo ento utiemi a na wa de floor tiro ni be flora disposable handkerchief flora aya kiss tissue na watimi de di djuma number say we betimi afresh no aya 0243 na fe wo so no wanya dodo etwaton anase 0246426172 eni amana timi aya kama ade amama kato say high sense adawroba sisia no mo amane ma ebumi high sense asmen kato say de omode ma say wo mo enso ama wudam aya kama anti abana so person siesie wudam a wo mo de refrigerators ade aba wo mo de chest freezers so aba ana fe so television no wo mo de papa panel de aba no so more compact and more laser television when sabetimi account there about the sound system and a mobile phones and a smart ones in your mom and a cracker ediaba away and shower also one more eddy microwave blender and a face or more at the rice cookers net kettle and air fryers in ediabanti high sense the same we showroom Ghana afana baby and ubenyo fe wakwa junior mapana where to me the digmania maybe and so better no 5 years warranty and on the man can say the baby and ya okwa timota mahira basona okwa dansuma na East Legon and Africa so la pass pato eni nyina omobo kanesi ubenyo omo enso e wonka no mu showroom no wakwa kwedi djuma West Small e wotema afi okwa West Regional eno ya takwa na afi takwa de Central Region de mankasi mu benyo omo okwa East Regional no yakọ Florida Volta Region eno e hohoi ana afi so ya de se okwa Bunisa eno ya techima afi Blue Regional esunya no benyo omo enso ho Ashanti Region de eno ya obuase ana afi Kumasi na Kumasi say no and your Kumasi stand or so we be no Kumasi city more and so wo mu showroom ni bi o adum anu ba ku ho and afre so adum post office in ho and so ba ku ho na afre tafo anu ya Zaria Johnson na wanya handsets numbers wo mu di djuma ya 0302550000 na afre wona handsets and so awia bom kama na de tienie wonim say promotion on aguso e trend den anu ya Royal Foam cement cantor say wo mu di student mattress ni bi adiaba na auto student mattress na a free pillow and a chest somebody amount and a 4 inches no and no I 350 Ghana pair and for 3 inches no I 320 Ghana and promotion as here Royal Foam and now Cocoa mattress now farmer wabofran and there's any comfortability and now first no now a very first in the body no wa bro be so de kwa kwosua de na etima kama obetima from I was 0202271000 and as 0202271000 down fe when I Royal Foam so ahia bo amania ma kama e dia ma about 10 ya de chene diaper ba kwa me kan for e dia ma no I floor kids baby diaper esan say kama pa na e wa hoade say de chene o ma ye into layers and ti say abofra no kwa dun so e kwa gu I ne pa de diaper no enya de se ebe memu ayehunu na abofra na su atete wo we se na kama enti eno na mekanfo de ma oba tan bia eya no ahwe na nso ama nsa account de na kama na de chene delta paper mill ana akwakofa edi aba na we de diaper no e de abofra na mattresses bia nso hu abofra no enti no pe no mesa we betimi afre aya floor kiss issue na wanya bi enso to no aya 0243033033 ana pe wonso wanya de to kama na eno so atimi abua na so as a man kajo is there omo at the fixed broadband na dia but tell us fixed broadband I come and say we reconnect with dia and in the month of September ya no we person trust subscription no at the tuma fe and also join here 100% megabyte of data and yɛde ɛbanti ɛkɔba sɛ sɛ bia 10 gig na bɛtɔ a yɛbɛsa ma another 10 gig ɛnso ɛde account na fe adeɛ so wɔ mu dada na ebia wo deɛ ne ewu pɛ so renew a ɛno so renew a 50% ɛyɛ data na yɛde ka ho ɛde ma for phone na dial star 900 has star 900 na fe twa wo deɛ ne tum sisiɛ na ɛnyɛ kama mfama wɔ hyehyɛ awodo nyina so na wɔn so ntimi ɛmoa na mawie ne sa na ma menka fo na menka nkyɛ sɛ yisi adeɛ baakom ɛyɛ sɛ ABC games no ɛno na ɛtwɛ ne yankasa yɛ ABC di a ana yɛde DC ɛdi sika saa no ɛne wotu so 3 letters na yɛyɛ draw na kyɛ sɛ 3 letters ne nyinaa pie ma amasa wanya sika abode ɛde amanti wo fa phone na wadale star 262 has star 262 has na fe won so watimi ɛde 5 Ghana de atwetire every 5 Ghana ɛkɔ na betimi de atwa bi yɛyɛ draw na kyɛ sɛ wo numbers na na sɛ wo letters na wotu si yɛ no ebu baako epie ma yɛbɛbɔ sika no mpensa ɛde ama emu mienu pie ma 8 times so stake ana fe so emu miensa ne nyinaa pie ma ɛyɛ 200 times with stake enti ano ne yɛde dwudwuma ɛyɛ ABC games na no ana ɛyɛ kama sisi ase no ubi sɛ nipa baako ABC game no otwa pa Steve Zando chia wo twa papa ɛne yɛ ABC games no enti yɛdam na wozu twa de ma ne ma nyina nkoye kama mfama ɛwɔ yɛ hyehyɛ wodo nyina so wonya skasa de ano akɔ Franco Trading Enterprise Boga Franco ɛso de mobile phone sa wodo nyina de aba quality ones na no ana de ma original ones na no de ma na ade ba ko ɛsɛ aba na iPhone sa Samsung ana face Nokia no benya de kama anti Franco no Boga Franco ɛsɛ adum baabi ano wobenya ɔmo ɛwɔ no mo de smartphone sa de aba ana face omo the smart TV omo the Franco television ana face chest freezers omo the air refrigerators aba omo the washing machine microwave omo the blender ade aba ko aye camera ya CCTV cameras no makoko fa bi ade aba in fact CCTV camera na kade de Franco Trading Enterprise na wonso no wonsa ebe count there number say betimi ne o mato kese e waso na 0245 316 969 and as 0560 684 147 na when Franco and so ɛde abom na ɛde ma kama ɛde ma hyehyɛ awodo nyina so ma tawo ma no pay MTN Ghana ɛso men kanto yɛ sɛ sisia no no ayɛ sɛ ofa phone na wadale ɛyɛ star 138 has star 138 has na ɛnom nso ɛyɛ super ɛyɛ Thursday no yɛ yellow Thursday MTN Ghana ɛde ma na wonim sɛ wo band will be out by no MTN Ghana bɛbɔ 25% ɛde amanti every Thursday bia na ya na wasa no so sɛ wonso no wo bɛtɔ ɛyɛ band no first band will be out bɛtɔ no yɛ bɔ 25% ɛde ama ana fe so ɛyɛ yusu momo no ɛne amo amokɔ movies no na mani gi movies one ade no and okom aya silver best cinema say ya ano aya kra West Mall ade say okom say ya na okoto aya o take it na we sumomo no editua ade so obenya opportunity na friends no wenya aya free ticket na chese no so atimi aba na ade man so akoye adiama na enso kumase anim say no ano so say ni nyina na aya golden garden city ade say ano so say no golden cinema ano so wo kwa na chese aja wa yusum aya wumomo na odi aya o pay no wo dia to ticket no sa ya so ebesa ama another free ticket na what media kwako movies how do na ene je na e kama dia man MTN Ghana and this opportunity we edi ma wan sisia wodo nyina so wa wie ne sa dia ma menka fo na menka cha say asantiment ma Ghana dia nipa bako ana cha say yagina tum say eba ne real estate aye development odi mu tintima ye pa ano aye guest properties na na ba support as menka cha say wo pa asase na to ano litigation free man so sem bia ne ho problem bia ne ho woni abusuan bia enkonkonya man so langas sem bia ne ho omo amo asase a aye kama na fe wetimi e de adu juma make say 5 acres of land and so no at aye to high school Johnson at as aye pe obi e de amano ana aye 1.5 acre ada de entemenum aye kwan pe akra Kumasi road na wakwa kwagina wetimi de adu juma afenso wo pe fie ana ato fie bia obeton de amano no manso bia no problem bia no and to any gas properties in himome na omomo amane ama anye kama enfama wan sisa wodo so aye into rental agency juma wodi sa apartment ana ha wo pe ahan office bi na pa ahan ana se wo pe warehouse bi adi mu juma na na ba sap na be get to covered no me so betimi na no atokese aye 024 0541 135464 ana se 0249 136-582 na wafre Gessa Properties na so kase Kumasia would wadi chemu ewa dekojati ane Asante Roko training gas no wansa benkum so ana benyo mafe woko sunyania womo enso office wo na fe doma hinko ana pekum na fe nkan na wanya Gessa Properties na wetimi ni omadi so edi djuma wei eni nyuma eko ni afofran kan yepi na no pe no womo enso yasene enkofa ma so yakwa edi update no edi blow and sha wodo so nyina ama eno so etima ya kama makato se yeso no live ewo multi TV decoder no so nti afe ana do afide ndi ato Nhyira your number one account radio station we call multi TV decoder no so eno ye Nhyira TV wo multi TV decoder no so wunya no scan we dia no fofo na won san so etimi aka ana afe so no we call YouTube eno ye Nhyira TV na afe eno so ya papi e dia room 1018 yendi djuma kakwa na ye hwede we ade no so besi akwa no ada UEFA Champions League Monday one Manchester to me to da ye hwede we ne man so esikwa bana ne ma menka we sa matches ni bi beba so Olympiacos omo ene Pafos na edisi ene ana versus Liverpool omo ene Bodo Glimt beba na ene anso aye ade 645 na sa games no enya anso etoja ewe ye sisa wodo so mpato ayas bobo kono wo muni inter wo muso game no betimi atwane ama ne man so atimi awie peye wo abra Bayern Munich beta Real Arena wo muni Chelsea ana ebana face no wo ba benya team and dinner Liverpool wo mo ene Atletico Madrid wo mo ebana fe PSG anso ni Atalanta game no etima ba so ene ya matches ebetoja ewe UEFA Champions League and now no pay make check akra e de man na me kodi nkoma ya see per the bench book makers no wo mo atese eba ni UEFA Champions League ya e kama say Premier League clubs no our 45% say wo betimi agi UEFA Champions League no e de ati o me na so nti ya no e nkoma kakwa so etoja wo benya Tottenham Hotspur na wanya City na wanya Chelsea na wanya Liverpool reporter mensaka e say omum 45% say o betimi ate e UEFA Champions League ni de ati o me na so eno so nkoma kakwa ni pato Jose Mourinho reporter mensaka ya say Benfica ata say no adom ni kwa beka boy under 16 minutes now ma say 2 goals wo mo ti ane say kwa bek aba be say omum ati omum abom 3-2 ama game ni Bayern no ampato wo mo chese wo mo head coach no nyame anim ni adwuma no anya de so betimi ayenti o mapam no reporter mensaka aye say Jose Mourinho after 25 years of paying no return back na fe wakwa adwuma no adama Benfica boboko no entene ye reporter apa ewo dwuma de so na no pan ye de onkomani bi ade da ye so mo komadi na kwanim ye pa aka say Jose Mourinho enso ebaje pin na fe adwuma no wetima ba be kama mama refisa Jose anya wasa say 2000 mo ho ana wasa say ye adwuma no adama Benfica boboko no we fio na chase okọ team and dim ade 90 aya Nhyira wono eba AFC Porto and ye 2002 ana fe ba Chelsea 2004 okọ Inter aya 2008 ana fe Madrid okọ 2010 wasa ba Chelsea 2013 and okọ Manchester United aya 2016 afe okọ Tottenham Hotspur 2019 and okọ AS Roma 2021 afe wodani Fenerbahce adu aya 2024 ana Benfica 2025 reporter Yenseka aya said the special one asa go back to a team was asia wo quote ya amobi anu sampa adwuma no quoting job no nim ni ye pa eno ayan ko baka kwa etotwa awo dwumadie so and the quoting won sam ya kan ya no reporter Menseka asa Manchester United report na chasa opanya ni de Ruben Amorim kwanko bia so onze papa no mbe pam no na yesi so mo pam ni sekima aye four coaches no mudi na ba ene ya Manchester Pochettino ana for Oliver Glasner mawu Anthony Ariola and my car saget way and so a four quotes are yes, Juma no betimi and so Adama Manchester United. I know Yankobaka Quaswa, Etoja, I would media so Atletico, Club de Bilbao, my head coach, I open Yanni Dinadi and Nesto Valverde. Nakabana Nesto Valverde Sianka, and Mobianta says Arsenal. Oh, I La Liga man Cosi, Eban La Liga Titus Nan Combetimiante, at the Atwas in Euro 10 times. Was it Makum Predu and Arsenal to Betimiante at the Atwas because Arsenal born Arsenal Bono and Yansam to akwa Arsenal bo adwuma ni ye what is onipa bia pese anase team bia no o pese o gili guy o defense no ana be ye adwuma na jama no he Arsenal defense no masa adwuma Arsenal defense ni ye no adwuma e waso ni ye penton de o gidi ye pasan ka Arsenal enso e wala liga man komate e de atoso mpredu e no enso nkoma kakra de ton wi Daniels a former player and man Arsenal Boboko as well or a legend enso de team no ase Arsenal ekura a deep air squad after say Arsenal team no ekura this year there say no excuses na Arsenal enso etimegi trophy anya rekura ba ko bi anu ya dia to do sense anu ado mo tialeti Claude Bilbao e pomo ntram ye no Leandro e to sa de nya go na fe Gabriel Martinelli enso enya go na Gabriel Martinelli go no wo ba ma 36 seconds ana chance onya go no enso de mama ne reporter Mensaka e wo dwuma de so ko Barca Boboko na am the time Mensaka say Lamine Yamal anopa ya me Bayern na Barca wo mo fly from Catalonia ko de na fe so mo de mani achebo e wo Newcastle na fe wo mo Newcastle game na tina atimeto ja reporter Mensaka e say Lamine Yamal e plenty no abanta no so ntimi ankwati mama join on Facebook ne dia and Juan Garcia we just section ana fe goalkeeper de dina de coach no wo mo e goalkeeper so mo de mo na Arao Pau Kobase Andre Christensen afensa abanta de din adi Gerard Martin ubenya Kunde na wanya Eric Nafe wanya abanta de din anso adi Pedri oho ubenya Fermin na waba benya Makasado ubenya Daniel Mona waba benya Super Frankie wanya Mark Binana wanya Ferran Torres oho afenso Robert Lewandowski wanya Hafinya na wanya Marcus Rashford Rooney Beko na waba benya Fernandes Nafe aba coach ani din adi Hansi Flick atachire abu adwuma kama anso adi amamuti ano Barcelona squad a woman suno adi kwakobo Newcastle na no pay no me preche kakra adi ama wansi shawo so reporter Mensaka say isi no yesi record another team and di na di tufe na record e bi sida sa yabo UEFA Champions League na team be equal down 2 goals na oba betete asa 4 goals there kwabna as another time for and so I record at as niema nyina ya kama ade ama tu vebo ko de sa another womu anso ani team ani din ade Borussia Dortmund and so ebo 4-4 and unya Kenan Yadis wono enya goal Dusan Vlahovic and so bo brace and sana banta de de Leo Kelly ade ba ko anso ka ho ade mam Karim Adeyemi and so nya goal de Borussia Dortmund and first banta de de mentor enyane de amadia se Jean Koto enso enyane de kama ansana bensibiani so no ade ba kwa ka ho ata se ade no akokọ ye 4-4 reporter Mensaka asa sisia no yasu ko Juve abrante ba kwa wo mun se da mo ni din bera Juve adwuma no wonu na oye sisia ni nyina Kenan Yadis na report bi a Mensaka yase yase Juve supporters ne kwa sa se eba no free kicks abrante no ana yase man abo because the techniques bi aye enti we wo na mo de ne tete bench ni ade and Tim Nhyira reporter if you Juve akate ade bana yes Juve for say one person may contract sense in the matter 2020 2030 rather say o may contract in the demand and the salary we move peja kakra that na yes 1.5 million euros na kodanete yes o mu biema abeko 6 million euros in koma kakra ni any chance is by January there we na Kenan Yadis one be pay pa no and so koma kakra ni yo say we know reporter Mensaka and so I says he said Jumani na waya UEFA Champions League no waya Jumano amateur man so etime akwa kama men said that enko opina ma men kwa no da Madrid abo 2-1 unim say killing Mbappe e penalties me no ana onya ya ta so boy Jumani kama ana first abanta de dey Timothy ya ati kan ba kom ade my team ne din enso Olympic Juma say update Mensaka I said Trent Alexander-Arnold and so abanta the prior ya said na ana ba kwa ne test na fe o the extent of the injury other say be a surgery na beba and I say be a we no omba na fe o maye nkakra na branch no enso wetimi ato da ne reporter Mensaka awo dwumade so killing Mbappe lotena no ada wonya ne 50th goal enso adima Madrid ayebobo after say July 2024 one so joining team by all standard branch no enso a fine player Rodrigo ko say yanka mo bi ante say rumors no abra na so kuda bu o see a transfer season bia no ana Rodrigo ko ana Rodrigo ko ene adade ade wo be kwa na wie na chese what baby ote wo so woka ama obi ata se rumor sansem de eto ntwa 20 one your head and fa ho kwa eno yensam kakwa so abanta no ade to dwana we ya mad the fan na wo bisa se de nti ana branta de de Vinicius Junior ya tade ne tra bencha reporter men seka say yes mad the pay for fees akwa na ya so blache o ma bon content sense na kwa na anye ana afeso Xavier Alonso so yes ohia another profile enso wontimi kan kase yes onya pa Vinicius Junior profile no and conversation with another player ana afeso mo chese Vinicius Junior last season in boy no yes nanche da anya mini fubia ese o mo seda e man start ni ade nti anu ya de free man da kate ediba Roberto Di Sabi wono ana head coach only massive for no eba was yan kama obi anta say kwaya mad the second penalty no ya fa so agidi chom no nyame anim ne enye penalty na no da o mad the ya man record matter so obi e ka bia mo na kwabra wo so o Muhammad penalty we adia ma o say mboama football enya man so kwaya no enso nkoma kakwa ni eno a me pato Tottenham Hotspur enso se ba kuma VRL wo mo enso antimi ante goalkeeper blender ana teso ya ball hot as he grey ball no when timi enso na teso quarter atram ni ante Nicolas Jackson as ye kama obi ante se na ni ante se watwa ni team ani dinim ade Bayern Munich na obon pa se bibia bekoye na fe season no ebebe na wie na bibia so atimi akoye na watimi ato so ni Bayern Munich boboko na to so ya adwuma opeso otena Bayern na wo boma Bayern boboko no ene amakoso ye ede mama na reporter mensaka na eno ana sanchofo kobisa openya ni dinim ade Angel Maresca se yate se na Winnie Jackson kwa mo insha danya fanos eyebo me Jackson me ni problem yo na Jackson there menene konya problem ayede anya de so ni Nicolas Jackson no problem dia ente ne reporter Angel Maresca ade tuja na yebisa se na ene alliance ari no hwa na eda post no mo dada ya na no so wini me dada na Robert Sanchez ana cheze ebeda go post no mo but also come obi ata se chances na ebeda be eno cheze Philip Ferguson enya go post no bi mu na wose o come obi ata se matches na bebre Champions League games ni bi ho Premier League games bi o ka ba wo FA Cup ho ni nyina na Philip Giles ne betimi anya biada enti se ne one start here eno ncha se bia goal post no nya mu na enti ne ka ko pay na di tuja Vincent Company head coach and so the ma Bayern bo ko no was in fact nyame anim ne enso Maresca adwuma na waye wo Chelsea na we anim ye pa ozo so person hu so bia ya adwuma ba bia na team ni wo ani oni ko no be fa team ba bia team ni pempes wadu with the Chelsea the enso the yensan enfanto na o compare to enso Maresca adwuma na ya obehu sam papa no waye adwuma ye pa because baby obefa Chelsea and baby odi Chelsea adu no Chelsea papa no adwuma no nim ni ye pa no enso nkoma kakwe na reject asia kama obi anja se wono wakayo 2020 ode dia Bayern for the year Chelsea ni nyame anim ne ozi besi ne wadwene ho na ya ade ogusu kai enti oka ama obi acha se sa de ni nti ene game at Chelsea ekwa wuram no wada ne ho so kwanko bi obefa so a ene obebo game na poni ye ama Chelsea atimi awene no ono Re James be he na watimi aye adwuma ne ye ene yankoma kakwa so Re James ade tuja ye wie 17 mpata Enzo Maresca nkasa ene ye pi na ono so ade aba fa Chelsea team no kwabna ozi ni team no wobo match after match bia ne kwan of so pepe enti o ma mekasa na UEFA Champions League no bete and e bi obekọ semi final one day obo the matches na obo ebo ne na Chelsea ko ba se ene wa qualify ko final na se wa qualify ko semi final problem bi anim eno aye Chelsea head coach Angel Maresca en ko beka ko de tuja kwabna Jude Bellingham so woni Kamavinga yase next weekend si and on start esia kan adi ama mad de ama yakan say killing Mbappe so say goals no dey ontimi ncha say obehe 20 and so obehe 30 because on person obe puti ele limit bia to ni goals on so ebe say and slot and so ebo Atletico Madrid on so akasa adi afa wo mu team no ho ata so say in fact wo many abre say against team and the Atletico Madrid no obehe and so etimi aye adwumani ye pana what say oni openyan ni tin de Thiago Simeone asiada na ne ball na ya na enye yi so so de ahomate adri game no senti as usual sir anon so edi eremu ewe ye hihia do so nchabusia somebody does better ebre eni afanti enkofa ma so no ma ye hwe na ye fanti I share your number one account radio station dia sentiment nyina ati edi atumi kwabna ye fanti ya
okay ye na say Gabi the foreign native for the Ako Amane Aba Yentra se na fe mene abega for Fifi Manfred and a Bismarck Owusu Bempa Ayala yen kamu na fe yen ramane ne na yendi UEFA Champions League they won games adra ya shase enso boy ye no and the games so china so the games so but the big game Bayern Munich and Chelsea at the live commentary and you remember 7 p.m. at the Bebrem Ofidie mu ha. Enti on son on your live our YouTube in Sharp TV, Sanso and on your multi TV decoder and so no search for in Sharp TV. Honso Jumadie no obetimi ehwe Jumadie live ehon na nyame adoma asantema I ready for next week. The Rapaholic concert no atie for sa onyanya utikita ene me be chew kwan bia kiti ubenya tikiti ntam na Rapaholic concert no eba so next week no so atumi akwa bi odi afa phone is CA na download the MTN Momo app no download this CA o download we ya France ema enipanum 5 uye we ya no udim say ticket no obenya 2 regular no obenya 2 na nyame yadoma next week Rapaholic concert no won so atumi adi akobi so refer many part 20 and so obenya a VIP lifestyle 2 tickets straight na sa onso no ono dofo na motimi akwa akwhwe dwumade di binti we no nya afi na obese na mekwa me disika me de koto ticket ne bi we de MTN eboa just download the MTN Momo app no na onso enya ticket na fa akwhwe dwumade no enso bia no pa bia maka cha onya sori nko ade a aya nom rush energy drink isa said na baboa caffeine wom ginseng wom eboa ye pa vitamins enso wom odi ye adwuma omre kra onso aye bibi kakra bia no abre no unya rush energy drinker aba kwanchiri dina kama enso etimi ediamant ya na onso no wetimi atobi na bibia no akoye ediama edro ba ko a eba nche but obia me kan for the man koto ebia no vado ma shase di ho danse eye kan for se ba me sha bibidro kama me pacho ya de bi ti se ubi pi no diabetes esichira de ta aka se ena diabetes kran ya edro ho unum bintina ase edro ni ho no kan for se ba me sha betu ase e the amount infections how or liver problem nindina no fa koto eye kan for se ba me sha na enom ne betu aboa yi pa kuma se na wa me sell Cofrediments Apidank and a Gilly Gold Pharmaceuticals our Santase Adoni B our ho and also their friend number 0245 455 740 na what you dear kama pass say adia ba ko de pan sa Ghana oba so ko your masters ana PhD our abruchi na unim say djuma ko bi apie Ghana omo na easy chiki is gra and so etimi ediama ye from IDP Education Ghana omo de ko abruchi na opi edi anase o masters no won so etimi akoye ne kama pa enenti ya de anyame ya odoma ya the IDP study world expo no ya de sisa so ya Monday di anim ya the Golden Bean Hotel empenifo kukudam ebi free Canada ebi free US UK Australia universities akese empenifo omundina na eba down na expo na se no question bia person obisa bia betumi abisa akwanya abefa so free counseling that be bia free umpewe na apede no ansa Monday no odu ani betro registration free and one so obe visit idp.com and also obe register our 0553173346 a Golden Bean Hotel and upon non do sharp Monday na edijumade no enso ede ahihye so me patcho 3p garlic mixture a 100% garlic extra na say eduro no emu ahoden no dodo na in fact men kasa kese pa no if garlic nim na etwe the natural plant juice full of vitamins and minerals asha the be onoma me patcho say stroke asthma odonso obre o ye kese bebre paso so ete kama ebesa busu immune system oba okwa fitire na wayase eya me patcho 3p garlic bisha and I make for the amount now no person kotobi se we bibidro broni nsanim ya bibidro mum yanumo na saya de pa Danny Herba Misty Colidac me patron sabeti akabi 0248928824 na onso watimi age adroni bi no no kama pa ope so sesi wo dem dia me pacho Alaska Star Enterprise me kire wade bi won so okosra obi na oka so unia wo hwe sa dem wo hye o mama off easy for na delight no nti nkientena ni mu na yeni nkomo oboa edem wo nyefe obi ane dem wo fe bia he okosa unia bra inside bra betena se na se dem ho no ekoyi ne dem asese nye sika huhu bia wo kakra bi Alaska Star Enterprise be se dem wo kama wo office so se oba studio ha eniama na ba 98% ni na afi Alaska ha fe Alaska there say a bed sheet echo panel modern TV stands sofa cover in fact wallpaper blanketing curtains this is bibia this is dem bia wura osisi a wonsabeti udisika kitwa bi so na onsa etimi akabi memo bɔ niam ni nyina so odi akokumase ayadum sisi an boss of ho na ubuso obia so pe Mrs. Anoche plugs anima ɛhɔ na yɛwɔ enkrafo mon kɔ tiptoe lane ɛwɔ ɛyɛ circle na monsomon kono na mon kɔ jibi tentem pam patro for number 0256 330075 na mono mo eni ɛyɛ enkomo no emfa ento so mi twa ne tia na fifi man feda chase edi amayen yenko oboase zongo na IMSOC Mining and Engineering Training School IMSOC Mining and Engineering Training School hona yeko na onso no wakwa kosua de kama pa obeso ramming to mining na me pa cho say dam track na pese ukotwe forklift excavator reloader bulldozer nom indina no eye IMSOC Mining and Engineering Training School na tiefo me kan for dia man na no pe na onim say ufra chichi na obo oboase abesua bia baby a do to beton hostel no yani free free beda ho besua wade sanso na equipment ade besua de ni na nso yani free say de free dadie and ekoso our IMSOC Mining and Engineering Training School me patro sukui opeso ko registration fee ni 200 cedis na so ayo de kama pa for number is na register ho 0539 732 766 na mone omo eni eye enkomo entontom na wo ha wo dem ho no me patro me chọ call bi ko tobi sisi call no tobi na santontom go be kunentem ama bibia no etimi akonkan kama pa edi ama so ho na entontom na sebe no ha adwinti no die tie nie o de ma me kanfo eye kodo reko Royal Enterprise omo na de reko ha ba mesha edi aba eye dwaso so ho for general body pains me patro kotobi menstrual disorder oba bi won ma oboso mesem no so ho kotokofo no ba park ni so a boso bi bu ha na ai bibia ho be so kojibi koko emunu yade ketwa ebetimi haw pa reko heba mesha na me kan for dia ma ho edreko promise heba fediments sanso na oboase time fm utek fm okwa ebi ewo ho ena afi kesepa no ba bia obenya ya nkasa Bremen Pentecost. Thank you Jesus building him ho announcer ebetimi akayen na se wonso no bibia kama pa dia ma no pay wo mo aso yasena etifo yede the midweek edition na Wednesday UEFA Champions League games no etifo ye bana ye wram so na yedi nkomo no kama pa etimi edi amamo ewo dwumadie ni so enti se se edi bra Facebook na oba o share dwumadie no so aha Facebook yi etifo mesamo manka ni ye kra momfa ncheme manka ni ye kra ye ni Facebook mesamo YouTube Nhyira TV anti subscribe mame na ye bedi Chelsea game no nkomo so ho anra say class bi ho no ma kofi abro no yo ma djeso mbe boys sa Benfica pa kofi good morning sorry transit good morning bibi aboko de
onyame adom
Benfica for de na ha mo
me de menti asia kra
what na fie makwara bag be shaw kwara bag
first game a wo bo fie
coach in the eyes of my pam no na IPS for no so de no me ye no
PSV Eindhoven you know some gallows for no so some ye killers pa na me de reach ni twa me so say no ye ma anytime goal scorers say Ugurasi de no den na say Ugurasi nya penalty no jaima bensa ban ni
I don't get it because Dortmund share 4 Dortmund share 4 say Ugurasi din bam
And we go when you penalty. When you penalty, they are my Benz Baini. Boys,
Italian clubs, and it looks like I don't know. It's a Champions League. No more as a more ready finish body. The likes of AC Milan, Juve, Atlanta. No maybe Inter and so because or more yard there. We almost final. I think me and Yeman Kui, but I think Inter there. They are doing so well in the Champions League, but teams in our Canada.
Under Christian Kivu Befasa.
And I'm making. I'm saying, Adiana, Benfica, yen and run the minimum queenie. Benfica, Yamisamo pass a coach and no, much as some of your big boys. My coach and a quantum. And Yabana, and that games, and of course, Bayern, Chelsea, Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, PSG, Atlanta, Ajax, Inter Milan, Nindinano, and come over Bra Facebook. Hey, I dear grand and Facebook. If you come and me on your Facebook, hey, YouTube.
Mumra back to Facebook. We didn't make comments, Mamma.
Okay, Mammy can say.
Only head of social media, you know,
how you Facebook,
go back to Facebook, so
yes, Samo.
YouTube, na say Facebook.
YouTube, na for Facebook, na
see as TV was am account.
TV so be
TV na 3.
Say be ya. Obi abet to consume a program ni bi.
Because I know permit and go for say so you people have left we Facebook people alone and you gone to YouTube.
Oh, yeah, baba. You come back. You come back.
Yeah, if you're not.
Yeah, back. Say be fine. Yeah, there me see.
I don't people say me machine you. Media.
Popo.
When you popo, but me machine me light one. We statistics get to me that me machine is
and the Hollywood war. Cha-cha. Yeah. Chelsea amani. Cha-cha. And Pone goes to see. Na sure Germany
is here.
To say pow. Germany kronim.
Oh, Bayern to me share 6.
More.
To me share 6. Yeah, possible. Yeah,
Champions League more that's all.
My team will go to Philippao and I alone.
Me.
We alone play.
Some will be any some Bayern. Kuma one in some so to Bayern. Obi any opa ko Richardo TVCC e ko am Jesse.
No, you
say me. Obian won me support to Bayern.
Do you buy me?
Me buy me.
Okay, that's it.
Until a night that like this, you be crowning of the goals.
Oh, Allianz Arena.
Cha-cha. Kofi. Kanena na Ghanaian movie jina so pa. Movie producer be near friend down for BA. Okay, no.
Okay,
you moved be brain and movies is so fair.
Part 1, part 2 and 3.
Mutimi ya part 12. Be my friend catch and say that the oil in jam. Part 12 for the door for the door. Not that for be a yamin fan crazy, papa no free.
Okay.
I was free my run bear 20 year baby.
Yeah.
O free no. Was a nipa the oil to my power legacy.
Yeah, of course.
So na an car.
Yeah.
Into the bush and for say omo my juma papa oye no.
Okay.
And shekwa.
Yeah.
Into o my movie bi. Edumreya na ye premier o Richardo TV.
Okay.
Chelsea amani part 1, 2 and 3.
Part 1, 2 and 3.
Obi an ko pe movie ni bi me.
Okay.
And then urade nyame. What a match.
You will do match on cover.
Sure.
If you are the IFC you to then we'll see how the game will pan out. But Rich, and you can say the storylines of the Champions League in the way we are there.
Sure.
And the stories played out. Nice, interesting stories. Even from yesterday. Rich, when I saw some Benfica phone were leading 2-0 in the opening half, no, and I'm so, I take it. Till you move on. Yeah, people now later. No, say Union Sing, and only Rich. Union Sing, not Union Singers, Carabao for no. They coming to Benfica last weekend. Benfica for more in the Portuguese league, you know. I'm considering last minute goal. And then I'm win. I said go for me. Then he came back to this. I was disappointed. At halftime, the results at halftime were very, very interesting. What is a Juve match? You know? near 0-0 at halftime. And we had 8 goals in the second half. Then Madrid were 1-1 in that game at halftime, ended up winning 2-1 via dubious penalty. And of course, Tottenham must be winning 1-0 from an own goal. The reports largely from Portugal, and he said Bruno Lage will take leave of team and friend Benfica. And 1 year back, Jose Mourinho.
The second coming.
Rich, can Jose do the job? And I'm paying Miss Bikeke.
And Uncle V, the amount of football stories, sometimes ABB on say, at this same Benfica, they deny.
Exactly, Jose, in the friend about your team from going to the Champions League.
Now, why not say the same team Jose Mourinho also deny no. Yeah. Jose Mourinho will come back and take that team.
That's all I was about to say. He said the coach that beat Jose Mourinho and prevented him from playing the Champions League, who will be replacing Jose with him? I mean, regardless of all of that, Jose was some huge legacy in the game. And see, so much that it will buy him an entry to almost any job in the world. And it looks as if Jose, after 25 years, when he started the journey, our team and friend Benfica, Portugal, he makes the return back to the stadium of Stade El Horn, and we'll see how things are going to go from the rich. And now, Quarterback forming a good win away from him. We told him that Arsenal will do the job. It means that Arsenal team with a lot of injuries. But then again, they went into the game and they got a job done because of the quality in depth of Kitano. Which is now Gabriel Mosquera.
Yeah.
Centre back.
No,
you won't miss him.
Centre
back. And he has played in the Spanish La Liga. Yes, calm. It's a Valencia He's good.
The guy is good.
Like I'm shocked. Say all of the top teams the way we are seeing, including Miami, Chelsea, sat down for Arsenal to take the boy less than 30 million. You know, look for a branch of friend Mosquera and Babeshe team in him. Rich, Arsenal made use of almost squad depth in Nhyira. 2 substitutes and the Babeshe goal. First one, it was a branch of friend of Gabriel Martinelli. Inka, you see. A branch of friend and better chairs the agile position in 7. Then he comes off the bench, goes direct, just a few minutes, goes very direct and gets Arsenal the first goal in a game that they were struggling to score. And I like the fact that throughout the game, Arsenal wanted to make the game very, very physical. You can tell from how they were placed, they wanted to make it physical. And of course, Mikel Arteta, a boy that was born in San Sebastian, went back to Bucks region to go and deliver a huge blow to Team FN Athletic Club de Bilbao. And 2 of them, the second one, Brent FN Leandro Trossard, which Athletic Club for no try BBR. They were good. Boy was not bad. Especially on the pressing, on the counter pressing. But you see, this time, they can't see at all. Arsenal will beat 98% of the teams in the Champions League.
98?
Yes. Rich, Arsenal don't have to play too nice football. Teams say we are betting Arsenal, a physical dwelling game. Assigning down Barcelona, Liverpool. Which last season, let us not forget that Arsenal against Spanish sides, 5 out of 5 they beating them. They beat the almighty Real Madrid back to back last season. Last season, Champions League more. The only 2 teams Arsenal could not beat ended up in the final. Of course, teams will be sure. Paris Saint-Germain, any Inter Milan. So what I saw over there was Arsenal trying to force the issue and then let's remind everybody say, you're very, very good in that regard and they'll get a job. And now Arsenal for a job. And of course, what it means is that no team has more points in the UCL than Arsenal since it began there. Arsenal reached at the Santiago Bernabeu. Madrid were playing against Roberto De Zerbi's Marseille. Did you expect the game to be like how we did, especially at the beginning?
No. I said, no, because I like I said, a man for whom Marseille teams, no lie. Because Marseille.
Yeah, no more Marseille.
Yeah.
I don't mean coaching.
And Michel game now, Yala wants them to be seen to them. The Marseille team. Yeah. They are very good. Unless you don't follow the French Liga or Roberto Di Zerbi. Kondobia. This guy.
PMA, Roy Biag is in the team. Mason Greenwood. Timothy Weah.
I know I say, maybe I'm not Mason Greenwood. I could that way in a dream, maybe. Manchester for me and fun born in China. Now, Brian team of Bobo. Yes, da. And Emma Branty come and say, oh, amazing good.
Yeah.
Boy, no bomb.
Yeah.
He plays so well.
But when he said yesterday, my respect for Xabi Alonso went up a notch higher, and I'll tell you why. Roberto Di Zerbi is attacking manager, and in fact, only some pure football tacticals need to come about why Roberto Di Zerbi plays like that. Which Roberto Di Zerbi in the first phase of build-up, ultimately committed by 8 players. Park national outfield players of bare 10. He can commit as many as 8 in build-up. I love what Madrid did. And now, Madrid follow waiting to the game to go and press. See my friend Marseille, man for man aggressive. I think that's what made a difference. Which I know Madrid and press here, they would have lost the game in the opening half of the minutes. But they were very aggressive in their press. In fact, in the first half, Madrid followed FOC 14 turnovers, the highest they've ever had since about 5-6 years now. So almost 40 turnovers, it was the best one for them. In fact, all of us thought Madrid were going to score the first goal until Saab Moana Kokodi Abranche friend Ada Gulensa. Then of course Mason Greenwood carried it forward, laid it on to Abranche friend Timothy Weah, and then the first goal came from Team Friend Marseille. We mentioned that Kylian Mbappe in the past 3 seasons, he started Champions League in Kwani and Mbappe will come in. Which, what I had forgotten was that if Mbappe had scored 2 goals, now Mbappe nearly 50 goals. And then now he hits that landmark. In 62 or 64 games for Real Madrid, Kylian Mbappe achieved 50 goals. Which,
incredible.
That is very, very good performance. 2 of them penalties, Rich. I had a problem with the second penalty. And your penalty.
Second one, idiot.
And your penalty, Mr. Real Madrid near. I can understand if you are not happy that I'm saying this, but I mean, it's not a penalty. I think that, the argument is about the unnatural nature of play and the body. But play at top form, this is exactly how the body is going to be. He has to put a certain inside top form, so supporting the body. It's a Madrid won in there. What it means is that, Rich, in the opening 5 games for Abrantia, your friend Xabi Alonso for Real Madrid, all of them, it's perfect. And they've gotten the job done. And now, Timothy Weah, the son of Abrantia, your friend George Oponwia, ne papa in 1994 go the Cup Winners' Cup against Real Madrid, and of course years on Abranche friend Timothy Weah, who is the son of the former president and of course the first African to go onto the podium for the world best player, and of course also got a job done. Which Jimmy for Super Bowl draw. Who is the first half? Not Jimmy for the ball to 2 strikers on Kotom this summer. Roy Kopenda, any Abranche, your friend Jonathan David, none of them could give them the goal. When they needed help, a striker now no more cash over person no turn. And about second and both 2 goals the mom.
Obazi has shown a drew. Vlahovic. Serious. Then no don't want for them no me.
What do you mean here, Rich?
What's your 4-2?
Yeah. 92nd minute.
Any game.
Movie on. Mati.
Don't want for me.
Me I mean here cry and say grass when your penalty now they am bench buying.
Any games no.
Any matches so.
Any games.
2 of them are very big. But one is the biggest.
Sure.
Which is Bayern hosting Chelsea at the Allianz Arena. Which means in the history of the Champions League, 2 teams are Chelsea enemy ball brepa. Bayern count. Bayern in Barcelona. Chelsea have lost more times to Bayern. Only Barcelona and Chelsea have lost more to them than Bayern for them. And those are the 2 highest teams that Chelsea are losing to them a lot of Champions League game. In the last 5 times that Chelsea have made them, Bayern for them losing back up. In fact, Saudi game won't come out. Everybody's mind goes to 2012. But maybe because it was a historic moment for Chelsea Football Club and what they represented, because in the history of Chelsea, that was the first ever Champions League. And how it happened, they were not players in Yahweh almost at the twilight of their career. Do you remember the story of Didier Drogba? Okay, say, Lampard, John Terry, all of them, they were getting to the end of their careers. Then they brought in the smaller boys at the time, Ryan Bertrand, Abranche Ferro, Juan Mata. Gideon Oba said before the game started, he went to Advertisements one matter and told one, said, one, Moon Amaba Muame, Amamaji Champions League. Then one said, senior man, how do I help you go back to win the Champions League? It was Advertisements one matter and a ball was a free corner kick, Emma drove a little tip share for the ball to be 1-1 to go to extra time, and then of course in penalties. That is the thing. Which historically, Bayern have a huge advantage. When we play in the group stage or league phase of the Champions League, Bayern don't lose. In fact, in the last about 15 games in Champions League at home at the Allianz Arena, Bayern have lost just once. And last season, it was to Internazionale Milan. 2, Rich, so only Bayern for only bonus a match day winner. They don't want to play it at home. Now, Bayern are unbeaten in their last 34 home group stage league games or in the league phase.
That is super.
Yeah, it's good.
So we share the first Champions League the format now near Bono.
Yeah.
And the new format is there no year the league phase now.
Yeah.
Omulusu game.
No, in 34 games.
34 games.
Yeah. 34. Charting at all.
I would have done me.
But Maresca, I don't know what type of chart at two. No, I say chart. I will feel that. Don't be too quick. Because I've been telling you, people will become believers of Enzo. More and more doubting Thomas. No. You will believe Enzo Maresca when we are done. Inti, million to was here. Rich, Bayern for only ball. And I've seen lineups from Bale, KK and the likes. Some of them I agree, some of them I disagree. Maybe my lineups not sure. I'll tell you what I think Chelsea will line up in my analysis. Then quickly, and we'll finish everything else on them. Which only say in 2012. I brought Chelsea edges at Champions League final. No. The only player in the current Bayern team, a goalkeeper Manone. He was in the post. And he's still there. Years on, or that's what on him. Omutino, over the weekend, Omo with Conrad Lima, Dario Pamecano, Jonathan Tah, and Stanisic as the back four. They had a bunch of friend Kimmich, Serge Gnabry, and a bunch of friend Pavlovic rather as the GM with a bunch of friend Kimmich, Michael Olise, Harry Kane, and a bunch of friend Luis Diaz. This starting lineup, I think that is what starts our Bayern. It's Yanko tactical board, not so quickly. In a regular 4-3-3, Bayern in the red, then Chelsea is going to be in the blue now. So Bayern are going to be in their regular 4-3-3, and then of course Chelsea are also going to be in your own shape. Now we say, Uko Germany, most of the outlets say Chelsea will start with Sanchez, Chalobah, Adarabiayo, James, Kukurea, Caicedo, Palmer, Fernandez, Neto, Joao Pedro, and Giddens. I think this lineup will change.
Giddens in the amount of one.
I think that this lineup will change. So this is what I think will happen. Chelsea double the same starting lineup that they played against Paris Saint-Germain. Obama a back four of Chalobah. Oh, the only difference is going to be tossing. Obama Chalobah any advantage for tossing. Obama is James as right back. Then we have Kukurea. But as the number 7, and I'll tell you why. Obama advantage for Malo Gusto in that area. Then play Enzo Fernandez, Moise Caicedo, any advantage for Cole Palmer as the midfield 3. Then on the left hand side, Rich, or the advantage for Pedro Neto. But I'll tell you again why you play Pedro Neto rather on the left and have advantage for Joao Pedro. It only say Bayern for any pressure. Over 5 games since the beginning of the season in all competitions, no match now. And then you only 3-2 because they are buying for any and say they press and counter press you well. The thing is that with all of this, it looks as if there are opportunities for Chelsea. And nothing that Chelsea for a little bit confidence now. Rich, if you pick a Bayern backline of Tah and then Upamecano, and then Stanisic, and then add a bunch of friend Conrad Lima in this area, it's a backline that Cole Palmer will lick his lips to. It's a backline that Joao Pedro backline we are. He can do something against them. So Uban Fifth you want him. Not by a midfield, no, near small boy, a bunch of friend Alexander Pavlovic. Then you add Serge Gnabry and add Joshua Kimmich, and midfield of Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, and an inverted Reece James in the middle of the park. We look at it and say, okay, let's see how it goes. And then because Trevor Chalobah now becomes the right centre back, Tosin becomes the CCB, and Avanche friend of Marc Kukurea becomes the left centre back in that area. Now Chelsea will invert its risk to try and dominate the centre of the park, and then the catch was Pedro Neto will move to the left. Now Jumani is simple. Michael Olise any branch friend Conrad Lima will come here against Paris Saint-Germain. Pedro Neto had a job to track the constant runs of the wingers in this area. So Pedro Neto will be playing as a second defender in this area. So almost as an attacker. Chelsea's outlet is going to be in this zone to the part of Kopama and overload it just like see my friend of Paris Saint-Germain gave now home. I know there's some companies who are share Chelsea matches 40-0. Now, according to Max Edel, how many Nicolas Jackson's were the command Jackson a check and your man getting kitty. Now, Yema the enemy saying is a rich. I'm going to go pre-match press conference. I'm going to catch Enzo Maresca say, how much to say Nicolas Jackson the leaky some information in Yama Bayern boys no. Enzo Maresca says, you will see. Maresca say, we will see on the field of play. If truly, Nicolas Jackson has leaked information to Bayern for no, but for him, he's taking it game after game. Each game, no, it is going to be won in that area. Bayern for no press and their OOP shape versus what Chelsea will do with the players in the positional zones. Each match is here. Can you say goals, baby, more? It's a goal zone. Yeah, it's a goal zone. See, at least Oko Fikesiemu, we invested there. The first thing you should know is that there will be goals in this game. I think that there are going to be goals. Liverpool let's Nefi Abba against Atletico de Madrid. I think Liverpool win. I think Atletico for now without very, very important players.
So you know, I will quote him.
I that's exactly what's going to happen on Liverpool match.
Right, surprisingly,
yeah,
me a good fellow.
Yeah, on test though.
Me on now test me see me
me machine
and our good fellows here and bet. And I'm so per bet in the ampere card. What's a kind of semi?
And my home.
Semi.
Now you follow number 6 and
what Jatums are the end Fenumri.
But we're seeing the car.
So a Bema tea, so Bema no Beko better on Fan Canamra.
Oh, that's really any car. Really any car. Some see.
I was even born a bomb, Besha and Bayern for Canabra.
Now the men are
also will shrub bra.
The men are all buying.
Oh, be me a dear ready biampe. Be a dear cuckoo be a manager home.
I was a gaina.
A guy?
Okay.
A guy say a drobia.
And also correct.
Papa.
And where be now?
And to me, the idea could be a good fellow. So also as you bupa when you can have video as a cash.
I see any risk. I see it's Casa President. What for a guy would publish your match. Now won't you bet? No. Yeah, they got you to was here.
So all Bema for can better so. Me upiam the other father Marcus.
Rich was already the quotes. These are them. I will show on YouTube. I will take a screenshot. But we already so I remember so quickly amount a BW11E37873. Second one a BW11E35FDD, and the last one a BW11E34316. Which all of social media 50 man for Okwabinya. And now yes, I'm winning here. So like we do every day, you are winning. You're sure saying so in those schools we'll get a win over there. That's it.
Okay, Kofi. Yes, so yeah, that's it for encourage my DNA in Shawazo 4.5. Na mamen ko South Africa Jobek. Na menchia Pastor Emmanuel and Ipadodo na freno. Professor Ewiase or Jobek. Minim say Prof Sabre Ute show no. Good morning from Ghana. Jobek LED in 2 hours in Tina Hoye. Ewia nyamin shaw pa matise onfa show yi. Eni agrokra mieni apomden komo kakra bi Bismarck osu bempa ya la wa ha ono so beba na afa ye wram ni a preview no e di amam edro no agan no se wa onima ye ka se bibi agan a na se dro no nya du ketua o chairman nya du ketua nya dro a se udidi agro na edro we so obi enkenkan be ma bia wutie show yi ye din komo no wie ya fa number no ne frɛ na kwaju adu ni bi opani akwaba
Richard
patcho na wote sɛn
nyame adom ene edu papa ye nom nti me ho ɔden fa okay we nyame adom firi ho a wonya du papa no ma tɛnde ma ho ye
sa se bi zu odwa so de
o bi odwa so se die ebi odwa so pa ebi odwa so
okay
nti obi ope bibia no momodin a because drone demand na cost say no yenso ya intensify production.
That's fine.
Obia nkonko pe binto.
Obi first time audit ni a edro be asem ne kan wasem e den.
adura ye kan ho asem Richardo eye agan Siemens Vita Herbal Mixture and then the capsules and one seven year king. Na aduro se say enya din foforo so e bi say empenyufo no mo say omo frɛ no tete dudo na because empenyufo no tete dudo na no mo nom no nei no omo no num no ni bia no mu hu dudo no ewum nei omo no magan no mo hu say no tete dudo na enti empenyufo no from 50-60 year kono omo do mo so tete dudo na na ya ka frɛ no Siemens ene agan na aduro no ye aduro a Richardo yɛde nubna nutan ne hahama no den ɛne yɛde ayɛ aduro a yɛfrɛ no Siemens Vita Herbal Mixture ɛne the capsules a yɛfrɛ no agan no nti wa wutie and for the first time a wote yɛnka no aduro we yɛ aduro a yɛde ɔbaadeɛ nubna nutan ne hahama ɛne yɛde ayɛ na sɛde medika kai no tete dudo na no ɛnam sɛ tete no na nubna ne nutan hahama ne nananom no ɛhyɛ wo kukuom na yɛnoa na yɛnom ɛnoa ne nei no yɛsan akwakofa ɛde aba nti utie yɛn for the first time a aduro we yɛ aduro ɛyɛ from purely herbal meka sɛ we ɛne yɛde aba nti na ɛyɛ bibiduro krɔgyen Richardo agan yɛ bibiduro krɔgyen na wo sɛ bisa sɛ ɛdi adwuma na agan yɛ Richardo adwuma agan yɛ ne yɛ bebree na yɛbɛka kyerɛw sɛ sɛ wopɛ sɛ wapɔ mu di gyina bra ne nko ade apa agan ne bi no saa na yɛbɛka kyerɛw na ɛyɛ adwuma bi te sɛ sisi yareɛ obi a ne sisi ɛyɛ ne yapa Richardo yes yapa sisi yareɛ sisi yareɛ deɛ Richardo etu ne firi hɔ emiriti awaa bi ɛbɛyi afiri hɔ simple koraa nti obi a wotie ne sisi ayɛ ne yakyɛ a wɔn no mu nnuo ne bi wakɔ hospitals ɛne adeɛ wayɛ bia ne sisi ne nkɔ no mebakyɛ onya nhyia agan ne yɛ aduro a wonom one bottle nwene a UCC yare na firi ho afei so obi a ne de na akɔyɛ sciatica intine firi wo to ase ɛkɔ wo nan kokom no wei ɛne adwuma agan ɛyɛ ɛbɛyi afiri ho within a short time because aduro no enuane nura hyɛ mu mabe Richardo aduro we say no sɛ meka scientific research ɛne method a yɛde afamu ansa yɛde aduro we ba bonten a ɛbɛyɛ nwanwa nti oba ya se ho a yɛwɔ doctors yɛwɔ medical professors yɛwɔ scientists a ɔma yɛ thorough research ansa na yɛde aduro we ba bonten nti aduro no dwumadi a edie no ɛnwama nti sɛ bia no mo num aduro no mo hwɛ ha wa quick na ɔma nya ɔma yare sa aya no mo dwendwen ɔmo nkyɛ because ɔma no num nuo ni bi ɔmo de compare we na no den pa because ɛyɛ meka sɛ ɛma quick response onum ya na ɛyɛ adwuma ade ama aside that no obi a ne nom pem yɛ ne ya aduro no yɛ ho adwuma pa because nnuane nuo bi te sɛ endorphins ahyɛ agan mu ma de endorphins nso yɛnim sɛ ɛyi pains ɛna de firi hɔ nti obi a wotie ora google say what is endorphins ɛbɛkyerɛw yɛwɔ machine bi wɔ nipadua ne ma nyankopɔn na ahyɛ da yɛfrɛ ne neurotransmitter ɛno ɛna pain bi ba nipadua ne ma send signal de kɔma adwen no adwen no ɛna release endorphins no but opɛ duro a ɛbɛtumi time bi ɛbɛtumi ama wo adwen no enough endorphins a ɛbɛtumi aboa ma time bi ɛbɛyi pains a ɛno ne Siemens Vita Herbal Mixture fɛ na gan afei aduro ne sa yɛ adwuma bi te sɛ obi a ne nsa ne na yɛ ne titiriti Richardo baby a moja ntimi nko bia no titiriti ye ba ho ɔtse anansa kyeme bo an nsa titiriti na ne na titiriti ni na no no magan a ehi ni na de fi ho aduro ne yenwuma bebiri afi ban ma wayɛ mmerɛ wɔ mpam Richardo ahase ne ye ba na mmema na no ma yɛ mmerɛ na sese o ma nom
mmema muntie ne ye
Richardo ahase no ba mmema na no ma yɛ mmerɛ no ma no magan ma ma bi gina o ma na so no wo se no ma sɔre no ma twa salute te sɛ de wakɔ hia military man bia na wakɔ share security service mpanyufo nya hu anu asɔre no twa salute agan no sɛ wonam krom no bi hu kura na ɔpai wa agan ɛno a me call Kesben na me ba no man bi hu me hu me ɔsi agan ma du na yɛ adwuma hu o te sɛ kache doctor sɛ yɛ dana se ɛnya asɛm ketwa nti sɛ nipa na numaduro na aboa ne de a hu ase ya na ni bɛgye ba ɔno me na nka amoa na enko be frɛ no aka kyerɛ sɛ aduro na amoto na enye because manum bia amoa me but ɔno maduro na aduro na aboa na nti no ɔsɛ me mfa ne aseda ɛma doctor so da doctor ase nti Richardo wei ni nyuma agan ye ɛdɔ so bebree but ye di nkɔmɔ ebe bubo bi so ma me mfa namba ne ma obi a wotie yɛn kakra ya kan ya menim say the OT first time no when you need that so nya gidie so to be no more ebeboa no number no ay 0244 718 557 0244 718 557 and it was 0241 604 702 0241 604 702 Chado we need numbers fresh here
sure
na energy sem back woman is Chado number na wo frɛ no wo frɛ na no ɛyɛ doctors ne professors o mo yɛ dru na na ne o mo kasa nti wo fra wo de kyekye na abotre na kyekye wo yare nim kyerɛ wo no kra ne sɛ yɛsi edua edi mfie aduasa akyea no yɛmfa dakoro entene no nti sɛ bi obi akɔnom agan ne bi na within a short time ne ho atɔ no ebia na ɔno ne yare no ebia ba enu akyi ya so hu enti no ebia na won so de na kyɛ nti wo fra wo mu kyerɛ na aduro no yɛ won no ma bia na yɛ de ka ho nti wo kyerɛ sɛ doctor ebia me de no akyɛ bia be 10 years be 15 years nie ɛna me problem no start ye omunim kwam befa so but wo frɛ na wo twantro so ebia me de no start ye no akyi ye ya ye be ma no akyi ya results but am wow ye be ma no akyi ya ho akade eno akyi ya ho dosage eno ne moaw to do ofra kanokra ne kyerem omo no ade ba akwa semense de ye adwuma confidentiality say be on kan problem nkyere doctor na doctor nkoka nkyere obi confidentiality ye adwuma enti bomoden say ofra bomoden ne kyere o problem ne kyere o na ye hwekwan be fa so enso betimi aboa na yi bibia de afi ho Richardo medical kan bebre mi sisi yare sciatica Richardo sciatica no the moment intini mbesisi amoja ni ntimi nkɔ no sciatica na beba and am say intini na efa oto ase no eye moja na ese fa ho the moment intini mbesisi no o sciatic nerves no besisi esisi a ekere say moja ni ntimi nkɔ ebema ontini mu atwetwom obi o sciatica bia na me be ya adwen say onante kakra bia gi say otena ba bi nya say obitu ahwe emu twetwom o ye ho hwe enye yi but a drone kuta nnuanu no bi efe na nitric oxide. A typical example of nitric oxide jumedie na edie ne say eyi ntininim e bokwan e ma ntininim da homa moja fam enti obi a o kyekere nkatea na o kyekere ahyikyire ofa ahyikyire rubber na o de ahyikyire ni ba begum na ohum say de be kwan be ba bedam enti nitric oxide jumedie ne say ebe hu untininim ntininim mo ehuma yi nyoma bia mamu asisi no afi ho na afi moja na timi afam because moja no na ese fa ntininim enye nyoma na asisi ntininim na ese fam sana nitric oxide jumadi ne te enti onum aganya ni nsuo ne to paye na ekoyi ntininim ama ntininim ada ho onum aganya within a short time untininim acheton sciatica ye se ayo ni na be yi afi ho retard obi ne sisi ne ya maka jo se do we say no onum na osisi na nkwa afako ba bia akoto adu ne kwaje osika obi ne ho onum aganya one bottle awie ne capsules na wie no aka se ne sisi ne da so ye ne ya adwumadi ba akope di paye sisi yare enti uyo obi a osisi ye wo ya pa ebia me no kasa no ena madwuma wo ye nyoma opija ntiama wo sisi ye wo ya eno kra no Richardo ye wo ho akwanche bi ofra doctors ne be kyerem first o ebia me ye adwuma o mazi me ye adwuma bia me pija nyoma heavy fence heavy we a omo be kyerem kwan be fa so abenu maduru ni secondly ne asa kyerem kwan abefa so adwuma na wo ye na nkasa so be ye because ye kwan ye fa so epija heavy metals and ase bibia mu odu a obetimi apagya na nso ma osisi nya oya ni na ho akwanche no fra ye de be ma ni ayi sa problem ni na de afi ho nso de ma Richardo be me bia wa ye mre bia hia gan me si aduro ni ye aduro a wa ye mre wo mpem ye mpese e bebobo so bebre udi wa ye mre wo mpem de bo ani na wa jam erectile dysfunction ne kokoto aduro ni bi na frɛ ye wo code bia ye de be ma wa ha sei no won na fifi ma frɛ de ma be to code o frɛ agan numbers na now say doctor my emre wo mpem me de bo ani na magem doctor wo code bi o de me ma wa ka aduro no ho eno no nkonkoto enya aduro akoto aka aduro no ho ye wonu ma bi edidi ani edidi bi fruit and vegetable ye be che na de bi aka ho tetene ne na nanom no mu di nyoma bi pa ba de ne ye jaidi de bi ti sa akosia tuntum mu ne sa nyoma ni na no mama tepo ba ko ye jaidi o fra doctor e de be kan ho na boa maduro na timi ye adwuma ntem agri wa bim na afi wasan afa form na afi udi o mensem ewo bedroom ewo mpaso me ba cho oba bia o menses emma koto agan ni bi
na ewie
mewie oba bia o menses no ensisi so no bomode so be koto agan ni bi oba bia o libido ateko oni atenka oni feelings Richard ade ba ko ya pa no no be ma no magai na ofi adwuma ba na ne libido abedwa na ba na me ni libido me ni mood nim na den de ya but money so your ba ko akoto agai ni bi na wano na be boa pa me ba cho be bia to aduro bia no nei o kuma se won kran bo wura mu be bia to aduro bia na kokko pa aduro ni bi eto be bia to aduro bia no be bo wura mu number ni bia mu na me sorry 0244 718 557 0241 604 702 Richard again die obia hia bi momodin so be kwakoto bi na afi endi wakagina mu na mo na mo to a to nsuo ne na totopae no na yemfa ye number akunya ba ko ye de ni nsuo ne na nom na topae no nti ukoto a na obomodin ahye ne so na afi wa friend number wa duru no ho no na ya amount proper dosage na boa ama ho to etimi ato ntem Richard me da se
enso ye da se pa nti edo no kotobi na ebeboa wo titiriu se oye bema na se wonso no watimi ayeyi kama na se bibia nso no etimi akonkama etimi edi ama all right ya to adwumade no so besima ko su bempa yala eba na Sami Edian Carigo say I can see Richard don't need a new car but doesn't have money to buy one. I say me here car into what about bet be am young car. Me new car me fenya car neja me fa en 1990 chrome Bismarck go super payala and so banafi ya to adwumade so etimi edi amamti wo car fabra ne embete me wi ana me majuma de intwini ten love from corporate games you know edra ye kan wasem ekire mo maka sanya da bia na se office ye adwuma so enu tinu ye corporate na wutie mi am sewa ebra ya la ebe momra na monso meka ye love from corporate games you know enso ho na in fact agudie bebre ye bebo CEO penalty kick female 5 aside football ni na ye beye volleyball table tennis and money ade sacrates in fact games no so ni na be koso awo eye paadu intimi samo so unya me register ya corporate for mo na mo me peke mo form 10 number no 0245 594 425 na on so etimi aba count jumadi me the Moses for abeso asene makacha say opposite no be me bia no kwa ye be hwe kama ose ahon problem bia no eye medimosis na ebetimi aboa no waye ndina kama ediama yare bia ye hwe ewo medimosis 0246 360906 na me pacha onso ekona amonhwe kama pa Bismarck Owusu Bempa yala good morning now what to say
nyomia do me hoye na Chelsea for nese men kanjo say nye di ni ma club Manchester so me Champions League ne bi
yeah me bubi ba e be show me this weekend Bayern starting enyumre
yi
dey ato aso
the Champions League nkomo na yedi
ho dey
nkomo nese men kanjo say enye di ni
ye di bi enye yi
dey Champions League na e club akopɛ na beje
ye ne Greensby mu na
clubs na bo ni na ba akopɛ na beje na se ummo bi a wo hye kire na wo to bo wa park so de enu no omumfu because sanga omu ba emei na nka wo so bo ochina na na wo yo ma de nse ochon wo so nu zo betu ayo against na ummo bi kura wo tie kira o to bo wa park so de omu emfu kura which Champions League na start
okay
and the action is straightforward. This is among the four and the Arsenal. Rich.
Among for say United me crash bebawa. Arsenal say bebawa and share news.
You see? Now say this season yet bebawa nkwa na Arsenal show mo.
Yeah.
And Rich, so we should game out. You only look at certain things as an analyst. This season, say we will be out there radio. The nsɛmtwerɛfoɔ aka for Arsenal team no how they built a squad index. Arsenal squad necessary no are so deep rich. Now everyone so share game Libya. The amount Arsenal share about was their bench. I don't know who say okay say some job for you go no say Charlie Arsenal movie a little bit higher in terms of our level because Omar Brody a very good bencher. Now start to say day your games then you understand. I reach any Monday here the original I can say Arsenal win against Nottingham Forest na Zubimendi any Victor Jokers na say 3 goals no ma omo enti new players no matter about team and my adwuma. So for Monday and then Wednesday next me the same I am said the catch say Arsenal recruitment on my no I'm a man squad in depth I'm a new Omako Bebao Omubu game in the second half coach in Leandro Trossard and Martinelli but Omo say 2 second half goals I'm a Arsenal and a winner floor. Look, the story is becoming too consistent. Say Arsenal aboard the squad and that is what I want Omo Mutienu to get the picture correctly. Which okay this argument Arsenal Ekoto Eze the catch you say Minister Eze is very good but I hear from Obabo Arsenal team and that on team to Martin Odegaard so are you fit now in the number 10 position Arsenal fans you that the island when you Odegaard are sent over to Gabriel Martinelli Emma here and then jam catch you say the enemy Gini say Martinelli wa as the enemy aye say Arsenal bought in Omu 4-2-3-1 now. Sad 3-1 now what strikers next you. Mikel Arteta I prefer 2 wide players in Bukayo Saka and Martinelli because of width and pace. But as the only pace of a very good dribbler only money Kutani but only pace.
Over slow game no.
And no over. He started with Eze. Omubu game no who say no the bar for no they are stretched now. Onya pace the wings one. Oyi Eze or the Martinelli by Rich the first touch. A ball into the space. He ran with the pace now one and a crochet goal no and unlocking the bar for no and a Trossard and the second goal no a count. Arsenal very formidable. Now Rich what you say on the record we have to form. Arsenal and they are the only English team which say consecutively 6 times on Manchester finest as in Omachobuti. They are beating Sevilla 2 times. And then almost Girona. And last season over I almost Madrid home and away. Now they've added Bilbao. So Arsenal as a Spanish teams 6 times in a row Omuno Machia. And that is how Arsenal everybody Omunio Mana Omu Ayeno to have an LG of 1.10 and score 2 goals here. And just Arsenal did the job. Look, and now me point no, madam fi be frame or Real Madrid no say ayala. Ube say man go fa kasa o Barcelona ni tina o kasa. Na say ma say dey nyiti ye be show. Ye pon game no. The same person called me. And me be say someone win the game no. But are you convinced about the win? I say Charlie
2 penalties.
Myself on the side, we needed 2 penalties to beat them. The second penalty, highly controversial. First one, look at Kondogbia as experienced as you are. Why do you give it out like that? But Rich, the bottom line is said, at the man about Real Madrid were going to find ways to win. And whether it was difficult, whether it was no. Now you been about saying the penalties in pa. And can remember the cry for so and and I must say for the more penalties. But Rich, in kakran, the Real Madrid team, and I think this is about the 6th time I make. In kakran, Rich, the Real Madrid team is turning into a Kylian Mbappe team. He has taken full dominance of the team. And was already in a lineup. Vinicius the bench and our Rodrigo Muchabo. On the right, Ibrahim Diaz name as Antonio Muchabo. But Vinicius Kylian Mbappe seems to be rich. Only the is supposed to be there and the 2 goals. Emma team friend Real Madrid and win no. Look, we are starting game no North London. 4th minute, Anna Luis Jr. enya own goal. That was enough. That is Thomas Frank for you.
Keeper no anya de o. Bo no ende.
Me nim just
Ewurade nyame.
cross by etem.
So chino. So wo ye ni dey.
I don't know.
Oh.
But Rich, coach you say Thomas Frank, you know, on Fahu, he is one of the most pragmatic coaches any game managers in India. And so Onyago na all game no say no. Me three for me nka when you realize all look, my defending I am pawn from 1-0. Na me nyati Tottenham are back in the Champions League when almost started with a win against him, your friend Villarreal. Now to this. Now Rich, me name say Washa on the Betway app no so. Say o pick team be say obe the app automatically gives you matches nibi. And now, the moment you say Benfica will win against Team FL Karabakh, they give you 2 app options. And see, what it means is that what you say Benfica will win, but almost 2 app be assemble on a able. Almost say defense 2 within the game. It takes already for you. And see, Emra, almost picking Benfica win our Betway app no so. Which they won the bets because Benfica said 2 first goals. And obviously 2 goals now. Now Atike says, sir, results now to see you. You are through. Karabakh for the bet here. I am more papa. But as I was watching the game, no, now I'm me half-time highlights, the full-time highlights, no. I came to understand why Ombeteka, Rich, after they conceded, they took the game to Benfica for no. Lisbon. And that is the character you need to play in the Champions League, especially as a new boy. And they did very, very well. And then Mama said after the game, Mama said, Karabakh game. We are not going to accept it. Especially when we know Jose Mourinho is around. We are betting near you, near Kofana, but Tintia and say after that embarrassing lose, no, Team FN. Benfica and Jose Edin Koma and Comodiana calling say ono and our baby replace Rich and no some catcher was our game way. Juve Bayern Dortmund the catch real. The catch up the wood I go your game here. Na abe
4-2
Bayern Dortmund cha na Juve tika. The catcher will say Rich only my dear Kotia Kotokone has power Africa. And you so many big clubs be more. But they've not been consistent there. Say they be out. Na gobi. Na yard yet. Na top from yard yet. So you're consistent for her. And now we're getting exposed. And that is what I believe in. Say just one walk over Team FL Juve. Even though they were going to play the game at the Allianz Stadium, no. And tell me they are going to say, Mekai Kotokone has game be. But she here for time. Kotoko was them. Say only class. Has Baba so the rich. After now, I shit here. Kotoko Shego be ice over the ticker. So I gave me and they 3-3. I remember watching that game. Mensa Sabaho, meanwhile, Legon Stadium, Legon, some of them were campus. No, Sabapepe and a game way, 24-4 between Juventus and Dortmund. And you're witness here. Young Fumura and the games in him. Which the first 2 games are very, very tricky. Olympiacos, et say Dortmund any give the game no. Olympiacos are familiar with Europe. Powerful form and familiar. Almost first time almost Champions League ni. And the game is being played. A fear Olympiacos. And no any more double chance money. And no pay any more double chance at the moment. Now, Sylvia Praha any meeting Bodo Glen no. Rich. Bodo Glen they like to score. Yes. They like to open up games. Only a more. Whether home or away, we create. Yes, we know we and see this game, no, I don't know who will win. But I am trusting, say, because of the way I'm going to phone Ebon, whether home or away, we will see goals our side game. So your real analysis will start from Ajax against Inter Milan. Which, when you say, in the history of Ajax, and then, 500 game in Europe. Charlie, that is a sign of a big club. And then let me say, we use Ajax for the say, we are going to play a 500 game. and they posted a video of almost tradition in Europe. Then we say, yeah, sometimes Obobregu are very important. But Rich, at the Johan Cruyff Arena, on their 5,000 game, Rich, they are not going to play it against any easy team. And here Inter Lebanon. And here Inter Milan. Big news about Inter Echo and they say, Rich, she will run a pre-match press conference, you know. I see Inter captain. Why you training? Because of back pain. But on the team you too quite quiet. And he said, oh sure, those for Pablo 11 or more, there is no Captain Lautaro Martinez. Because Omijiri said, more information, you know. Abentene and your fit so but even though he traveled with the team. Or what chances of the so moving Guadia or betting Abon Rich or yes starter Rich. So Lautaro Martinez in Kawa. It takes something away from the Inter team kakra. But I watch the Eredivisie pa. Rich.
In fact,
Ajax and yet the old Ajax in the beam. On board of money pinche dodo.
Tima Australia everywhere else.
And then come back Barcelona. They play the ball on the wings, crossing the ball into the box, expecting there was also a wow.
Yeah.
Or a very good when it comes to area situation. But Rich, when you are good with area situations, and you Inter divide the money, Bastoni money, Manuela Kanji money so.
The goalkeeper know them, young woman.
And see, oh yeah, for Holland league, but our Europe no, Rich, I feel Team FNO Inter and one game. Actually, I asked Peggy, many extra 2 teams this season, Bona or Mobono. And see, I will go for Team FNO Inter or double chance away and Holland in that game. The champions are starting their journey to defend it. Paris Saint-Germain. It is all here. And then on Matchday flyer, no, Rich, on the Champions League trophy, you know. And they've announced, say, they are coming back home after being the champions. You know, this is our first game on in the Champions League as they start on defense, you know. And they are supposed to say, look, supporters, you know, you don't have any chance to stay at home. They are never supporting Omo and Honum. Rich, they should be able to beat Atlanta. Even though in their team, there is still no sign said Dembele and Watson were pra. And to Gonzalo Ramos and an elbow as a movement striker with Victor Carrasqueria and a backward on the side as wingers. Then Uko Fifiwa, Vitinha, Neves, and Fabian Ruiz elbow on Fifiwa. Then a child the same name Omuna Mendes on the left, Hakimi, Marquinhos, and Apacho. Yes, Atlanta. Since I'm Gasparini Koeno, almost saw no more doom, This weekend, I was in the almost I think 4. And see, they have more confidence going into this game, Rich. I think so on the face of it, especially the Parc des Princes, Paris Saint-Germain will be too strong for Tima and your friend Atlanta. So Paris Saint-Germain a win and probably even over 1.5 euro. One big game. Rich, let me say this. Yen doggy Atletico Madrid. Omo a performance in the Spanish La Liga. Now you are calling omo the respect in this game. I say, young so they've not started well.
This is the Champions League. This weekend almost share.
Yes, almost share.
At least I don't cry a motivation.
And the man was
going to Anfield. Just that Liverpool team, no, they are unstoppable.
Rich.
At the Copenhagen don't bet me at Liverpool beat them.
Many can say the ultra supercomputers in Liverpool nebeji. That is not to say omobeji, but that is to remind ourselves that they are strong side, very very strong. Now, Rich, the moment on a yate post of the Champions League, you know there. So last season, quite Liverpool film, a sure papa. Because Rich, only say everything there. You speak to Liverpool fans and they believe say because Paris Saint-Germain and the Coach Champions League, you know, say come Paris Saint-Germain and come to Coach Champions League, you know. Which Liverpool wants to get back to winning it. And they will have to start today against Team my friend Atletico Madrid. Now, there is a big news here across the Spain Rich. Atletico for to coin. Omudru Indian Comuno. Omako pay homage. Who they say we do Liverpool. Rich still now Diogo Jota. Now who someone more yaman and so and Leo Retina and I saw her. Into Captain Koke and the club president Omako Leo Moret come have gone to show respect to Diogo Jota and the baby also Moko show respect. So whatever spiritual they've done it. But Rich, the big news and they say Thiago Simeone squad or they call England. Rich, there's no Julian Alvarez. Umpires also. Until now, but the best. Obi says, he's your best striker. He's your top scorer. We Man City and Liverpool a lot of times. So why will you go into a big game like this without your main man? And to which, so a lot of probably 11 at Airbar. The master air can say, forget about this picture. There are two changes. All black better. Laurent Bebo 2, 4 and 5 Lenglen, no problem. But instead of Wagari, almost say Abanti Affair Galan Bebo. And Fifi, so this is what you are seeing is going to happen. Koke, Barrios, Karaha, and Abanti Affair Simeone. Anymore, it is Griezmann and Nico Gonzalez no Kotoni Free, Juventus no.
And yes, Soloff.
Yes, and yes, Soloff. And so you put Nico Gonzalez here and you put Galan here, then the team is set for an annual. Liverpool there, Rich, you say this is probably their strongest. The only thing is that so we go on 51. One game said Omo right back there. There is only rotation for McAllister and Szoboszlai. And in telling them say at Anfield now they think say Szoboszlai out of form. Actually McAllister. So in the middle no, I have Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and a Viet with Gordon Capo and a Salah and a Iketike and anymore from Paul Kekes and them as lateral defenders with Konate and Van Dijk and a Alisson and a Pomo Rich. Maybe in all honesty, me Atletico Madrid team me I'm a proponent of the Spanish game. I'm sure Liverpool have ever there. But Rich, I'm from no room to see you know.
Chelsea anyway.
I'm from no room to see you know. It doesn't inspire me to think say they can beat this Liverpool team.
Okay.
If I think say Liverpool every team any one over team your friend Atletico Madrid. The last one and obviously the biggest. Rich, you say Bayern aye or match day graphically say no. With Olise and João Pedro. No. Let me see, hey, that is nice. And especially when Yaya won athletics, and they were inspired by it to say, okay, on your marks, now Yamko. Then Rich, from this graphic, you go to UEFA Champions League and official graphic for this game, and they chose the two players too. Say coincidental, say new. But Rich, this time around, Champions League for the say, you see Olise today, say Oye left-footed player, over on the right for Bayern, gives you an impression of Arjen Robben. It is only graphic clear. Olise now Robben in his shadows. Then I must say, for João Pedro, size of Bayern, any the Oye gives you another impression of Didier Drogba.
What a match!
It takes you back to the old days. Now wait, the moment you choose Didier Drogba, in the context of Chelsea away to Bayern, it takes you to that glory day, no? That particular night. And then at the Allianz Arena, Rich, there was a big game. Look, Bayern see almost Chelsea 6. Almost 4, almost lose 2. And these are the games. But Rich, I give you a very instructive. Even in the Chelsea most miraculous nights, when the Champions League, Rich, they have to take it to penalties. And again, when they say about Ryan go penalties, and Chelsea have a lot to prove ɛwɔ hɔnom Chelsea squad number BBI set ɛwɔ hɔ now Rich this is where we end according to Build say there is Bayern against Chelsea Bayern with Manuel Neuer Lerma on the right Stanisic on the left then Upamecano and Jonathan Tah 4 and 5 Kimmich Leon Goretzka ɛwɔ 2 central midfield then ọmọ wings no Luis Diaz and Olise then Serge Gnabry behind Abenti Efere Hurricane they are expecting Chelsea to come in with Sanchez James on the right as captain Cucurella Adara Biayo and Chaloba then Mfifi or Moaz Casedo and Enzo Fernandez then the 2 wingers no Gates on the left Pedro Neto on the right and Kopama behind Abante Efere João Pedro no only one problem for Chelsea
ayala Mfifi ne
yeah any one
Bayern for
oh okay
Cambridge Goretzka na Gnabry gina Kenechi
Rich
goes best in show no
but Rich in all honesty Kimmich Goretzka with Gnabry in front of them I know with until from to Mosca said Enzo Fernandez with Kopama in front of them
they are doing the show
the only thing one Bayern for home home number 2 Rich there seems to be a particular problem with Chelsea team Bebe are actually take advantage of in the Premier League and we also said company will see they may be American Chelsea in their transitions a change shape and where we it is either Cucurella will come into the middle with James Abekon and Kakra and so Chelsea were attacking transitions are Rich Uje body for more quickly almost almost opening yet Upo pass we are to not okay problem especially with Bayern or Olise and Luis Diaz our new pace and they are very very tricky with Omo dribbling which for Chelsea to me dealing with Sadiana where Omo come anymore not Omo shape no acquire too much of offensive not 10 overs and acquire Omo if they are able to work on how they will shape with the ball not Omo and change so much here which they should be able to give Bayern a very very good game me okay tell me say company gina ha Enzo Maresca gina ha Nimfa Baku and Ogo coaching team I will pick Enzo Maresca
sure there be another game so be an senior company never
they don't know what I
players in here
Bayern bo fie omo home record near solid 750 kan solid home omo be 36 games and who ba ko pe no man go against Copenhagen which solid record and a Bayern away and they have a very very good record against Chelsea too but and Chelsea should do something against him for the Bayern Rich once a Bayern will feel it there now me say Chelsea betting stand up to them I will not predict who will win this game a bit will be a game at any time Rich don't underrate this Chelsea team especially against a Bayern team called by Vincent Company. They have the players who are very good, but and I have avoided who will win in this game. But Rich, I believe with the quality park we are supposed to see some goals. It was a game where Bayern vulnerable, Chelsea vulnerable because of Sanomana Makaninti and over 1.5 game. Minister said about China. We're sure because of a unity. By about 5 years, look, move and count this game.
Okay.
You move and count because by that time, now you are going here. I'm a Newcastle. Yes, Barcelona Abbo. Any identity. Move and count on that score. No, Rich Maminfa. Bet your course no and to now. So I'm expecting over 1.5 game. I respect Chelsea beating me. I will do a game with Mupa game. No. I the way I go for after the Fala Bayern Ebershanon that I don't see Saudi any giddy was our game with Rich. Bet your course in here. We Yanjina Yanfanya the Bayana Yentimi Ember Fee Medim Kumana a simple for bank account. I'm so serious. You obviously your bank accounts best so and then from Betway. And the first one BW11E 80 8F6 and a second one no BW11E 82260. Then the last one BW11E 849C5. It's BW11E 849C5, BW11E 82260, BW11E 808F6. Ewo 3 bet kosa obetimi afa na ode aye onoma obetimi ede aye.
Yemrefie na good fellow so men kanche o say. Asama wa kan sisi a wa man vim.
Amane vim.
I was in first na so suru game kakra.
Ani te chance for so game this.
Anti say me pa me fa
ordinary
kind of
Rich, look, me I have done my neutral analysis. Bayern team no our record will feel strong, but I watch Bayern and I see a lot of vulnerabilities and yet well coach giving this up.
Okay.
And Enzo Maresca so same over here and Ukrainian enemy probably Hurricane. Rich, Bayern new players in Chelsea.
And I be a
Opamecano kakra. No,
Opamecano there's one no.
No, also make defense no. So Opamecano dinawa.
But no mistake to do, especially so Bobby game.
But only to Adara Biayo, Chalo, Corner, I say, over certain consistency kakra. But we all know.
And how consistent with Bayern?
Only so one. Just to Pedro Neto.
Sure.
The only sebet may be a Neto Betiaye. He's a very, very fine player consistently. Kopama our Chelsea team. They don't even have Musiala. It's me player for player. Sad Kemichine, Leon Goreska, 6 and 8. You know. Rich, Mosca said Enzo Fernandez can play them. I'm not no much change in our power. Me said that good defense be out. And Macassa Enzo Maresca. For me, he's a better coach than this company.
Oh, for Sunday.
It can just say, Alliance Arena atmosphere, no?
The record.
And Bayern record will feel honor. I say anything for you to go and beat them there in the group stages now. I think Chelsea should. Also, Chelsea see more chances in this game. Say, hey, I did that one betting I be found.
Yabefie na yemfa fisam no nto am so Ghana Football Association anopeya confirm it. Say sika say the clubs and in fact 18 GPO clubs no that is the 1 million Ghana cedis no ya disburse will be a de ama no e kire say sesia make say teams na ebo the Ghana Premier League no yeba start league GFA e call congress omo ade tudwa say yeba ma teams no be a 1 million Ghana cedis make say FN say omo the club be a sikama no it make say kotoko agene de ha saje Gold Stars saje mediama in fact teams na balance ya hohoifo yi All Blacks and Techima 11 wonders obia ensaka 1 million Ghana cedis obia nso do person de bia no betimi ade from the Adisa Production Limited Sikano and na yetua club bia de ama no ayala yanka kire clubs no sikana ye de ama no yese momfa mo teams no ho bra team owners ni CEO for ne general managers no mama mfa nkotoka afi ebeti say yentua players ka and a team no kra no omutu command me resi 11 players amoma nkoba dan ya yesi players na sikasem bi ni ade sika na yesi momfa players na momfa mo teams no mama mfa nkotoka 1 million Ghana cedis ala bi wo mo 10 billion sika sika nim ye mezi e ba wie no na afi teams ni ba be su biem ye pam chawo
Rich me wo only 2 messages 2 Bako aye de wo kan but my starting free
or second one no
me because me gidi say and no aye conversation on sustainability Rich ye nyenya atwom saa sika ya abaye league ni mu a strong collaboration between the Ghana Football Association and the government of Ghana. And it is Kariaba. Nobody should be hypocrites. A Ghana Football Association and the Etimia convinces some people who are major movers in government. Rich and making sure say Sikaya Nancy yet it is about Premier League a huge investment in Abba. Now Rich, it is very good. Abba our responsibility to sports. So obet me a boama investment about industry ni mua. I also oye and why ye. Enti ye de abayase. So obet me ye bebre akanwa. Yes no onye mayen because Rich as part of Abay influence any nisikan esamun tutu ye no so obabua quantum kubi o Ghana ni ama ye ni agina ama ye muatum empuntu Abay abrabo mu no. One of them are Mijini, and the media has been on their neck. So more money is to invest in the local league. And it's on my assignment. Though I own responsibility, yet don't must say they behind the this time around they've done it in a certain way.
That's a beam review.
Yes. But Rich, Adiesi also introduces us to the reality. And then we see the reality will come up. Rich, say enye abaya. Let's not kid ourselves. Ye league no. Say na etie no. Na enya akono to corporate world no. Enya akono. Enu tire no obi ama no. Clubs ni suban. A omodibo league no. Na emane nya akono emu obi aso ni sika bebo. Sa omu eyi omani ama proper corporate governance, professionalism, and it's omu ye human rights no. Issues of officiating, hooliganism, infrastructure, and in human ema league ye attractive. Na oma tuachene asim se omu de omu nka ewiase a eko na nimu no. Ema league ni attractive to the corporate world. Now, Rich, what the government has done with the GFA now is serving as the foundation with which they can build some attraction. No? Rich, Mamika says the same way. Say at the same, any Ghana Premier League company, any GFA, any Obiano, say contracts and say 2 years, I had 3 years. Rich, by the time you remember this season, you know, some foundation, some sika we aba league nim, to league, you know, Rich, see a league we na ya ante say, per the conduct of the class, omu embrace corporate governance, omu embrace professionalism, no mu conduct omu yes, omu professional league in the 21st century, NT. Afedi adina baba ya kono ama Rich yenya individual private corporate institutions omujiri say side product we ye de hu nkoko bata they are failed. Okay, means as make kamati asia the foundation is now being built with this at the ceremony omu say e prolong omu onto a professional stage. They must do whatever it takes. Say by the time everybody season where you know, na obi or your private company so to honor say the way I did kono idie my men from a doctor on the enko bata. Rich, if they joke with the money, na momu say look, to attract more we need to change from normal baby and the bad press any idea image enye emeta bata league no. Yes sir. Say the we can attract more intimacy. Rich, see about season where we now you best start next season. Not still now, yeah, can say Ghana Premier League, you know, the investment in it is coming from one way at the TV production now and at this bar, then it means that there's a problem with the class and the way they've conducted themselves. Omuma Sadia way and serve as a platform. No more conduct your year. Now Emma for so for music MSM. Now investment in Emgro rich. Imagine Senka the same 1 million. And I say multimedia for so yes, so yeah. Sponsors and as partners to the Premier League.
Yeah, Mamu Bear.
Yes, yeah, more Obia H and Obia Suspenia additional area 200,000 Ghana cedis. Na Ebia Richardo TV, a company so the Nediaba.
When you have to place.
That is how we build the brand.
So bet ye dia.
Then the last one. Hey, they now okay. I made a credit so to Rich. Sika. At the responsibility aba. Say na wo kan. Ye nti ntia ye play sika.
Abi obi adika obi afre US. Mumpe ka ma me.
Ye nti ye ni sika de top through.
Ejom.
Ye nti sa no man kitikiti na. Ye di sika e na ye wo club ni mu no. Ye sere o.
Sika na aba no mu tua players ne ka.
They should invest it into the league.
Say pitch bi na mbetimi de aya mo nye. Mamu ko diska no.
Se boho na say anam pitch aye den yes mo nya nyoma. Mumma
1 million Ghana cedis.
Mumma class na nya kono.
Ya ba sisi ayi.
To ni mu pai ebi kam ayi.
But my starting free
or second one no.
Me because me gidi say and no a conversation on sustainability. Rich. Ye nyanyachum. Sa sikaya abaye league ni mu. A strong collaboration between the Ghana Football Association and the government of Ghana and it is Kariaba. Nobody should be hypocrites. A Ghana Football Association and the Etimia convinces some people who are major movers in government. Rich and making sure say Sa Sikaya Nancy yet it is about Premier League a huge investment in Abba. Now, Rich, it is very good. Abay our responsibility to sports. So, obet me a boama investment about industry ni mua. I also oye and why ye. Inti ye de abayase. So, obet me ye bebre akanwa. Yes, no, onye mayen. Because, Rich, as part of Abay influence, any nisikan someone to yeno. So obabua quantum could be or Ganani, ama ye niajina, ama ye muatum empuntu abaya brabumuno. One of them are Mijidi, and the media has been on their neck. So Momaninko is to invest in the local league. And it's on my side. Though a own responsibility, yet don't say they behind the yakaka this time around, they've done it in a certain way.
That's a beam review.
Yes. But Rich. Adie also introduces us to the reality, and then we see the reality will come up. Rich, say enye abaya. Let's not kid ourselves. Ye league no. Send na etie no. Na enya kono to corporate world no. Enya kono. Eni tire no obi ama no. Class ni suban a omudibo league no na emane nya akono emu obi aso ni sika bebo sa omu eyi omani ama proper corporate governance, professionalism, and say omu ye human rights no, issues of officiating, hooliganism, infrastructure. Any new man, a man league ye attractive. Na oma to achene as if somebody omunka ewiase a eko nanimu no. A man league ni nya attractive to the corporate world. Now, Rich, what the government has done with the GFA now is serving as the foundation with which they can build some attraction. Rich, Mamika says the same way. Say at the same, any Ghana Premier League company, any GFA, any Obiano, say contracts and say 2 years, I 3 years. Rich.
Group now here so better no. Hasla JKD ne di kan. Almost rewa. Na eye ho adwuma.
I was say me deliver on my promise. It may deliver.
Yeah.
Na me hu me help you no.
Mame hwe say ayi wey. Tilo.
And ewu.
I don't know.
Because any idea. It me say ma say wo tia na wan tia.
Na na say.
My client of obi ama me ho me ka say.
Enya yala.
Na enia.
Okay, ane yemfansia na yankofa adom kase no mfa mremo. Nyame ya adom a ye ba ya na chese obra dwumadie no obra atwan. Ohima benewa ani team no etena se. Na amde dwumadie no ede abantim so okoso anam afie no na ha. Isa se ne obra dwumadie no anya asem ketokra na so no etimi etie dwumadie no ebi. Adom kase na eto so yakra mu nyina.